came, the end of the world as we know it. But one thing survived. They could not break its following.
Retro Unlim Live! Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome to Retro Unlim Live 5333. I'm Harry Yak, and I'm 97 years old. Are you ready for this, children?
And did it's just stop there? Or did your microphone go?
Yes.
Seamless.
Guys.
Seamless.
Yeah, perfect. Listen to that. Production quality here on Retro Unlim Live. Now, don't worry. That was just a little joke there. This is actually episode number 53, and I'm still in the throes of middle age. But tonight, we're not here to talk about my midlife crisis. We're live on the BarryNet to talk about a certain 90s tea time video game show, or maybe even two. And joining us on Retro Unlim Live 53, we have a resident of Millsy Island, or maybe even two. But first, let's meet the panelists. We have Mr. Larry Bundy Jr. Hello, Larry.
Hello there.
How's it going?
Not bad, not bad.
Made any good videos recently, Larry?
No good videos, you know me.
No unnecessary internet drama then, Larry?
No necessary.
Well, what'd you have for breakfast?
Beans.
Seems. I'm sorry, guys. I can't keep this up any longer. This is not actually Larry Bundy Jr.
Oh, man, I think we had them going there.
This is gate-crossing the show once again. We have the man they call SGR. And we're not talking about the console snob here. It is, of course, the star of primetime television and YouTube, Mr. Dan Slope Ibbotson.
Hello, everybody. Yes, it wasn't Larry all along. It was me. It was Dan. I've fallen
You had
with
me
you.
going there. I thought it was Guru Larry.
Oh, sorry, man. I know who you are now, Alex. Your name's wrong. You got me confused.
Wrong. Yeah, my name's wrong. Shit, I knew I was.
I literally want to just go to sleep crying because I thought your name was someone else. I'm not going to ruin your introduction. Back to you, Yak. Back to you. Yak.
You call whatever you want.
Well, yes, and we have
Can you be Larry, please? So yeah, go on.
No, I can't. I can't do a Larry impression, I'm afraid.
Hello
So,
there.
Just before we continue, how is my audio? Is it a bit choppy?
A little bit choppy, but I think we'll be good.
Are you sure?
I mean,
Does it
Hello?
sound a bit like
What
this?
was that? That was Guru Larry throwing a bell.
big boy Alex, can you put your have you got a webcam?
I do not have a webcam. I'm calling in via a mobile phone.
Nah, never mind.
Ah.
Okay.
Wait. Who is this big boy Alex you speak of? Because the next person, or rather the next animal to introduce here is the games animal, aka Pete Armour's cat. Hello, Pete Armour's cat.
Meow. Hello.
Has
Remember
he got his
that time-
bandana?
This is first person invading my camera area. You won't leave me alone, will you?
Oh. If we keep this up, we might be flagged for inappropriate content with all the pussy.
Yes.
Yeah, all the pussy. So yes. Okay. Welcome. This is your debut on the Retro Unlim live stream, isn't it, Pete?
It certainly is. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have you here. You're fantastic, and I must say, absolutely hilarious in Mr. Dan Ibbetson's chat on the live streams that he does.
Thank you very much.
So, we're glad to have you here tonight. Unfortunately, though, you're going to be upstaged right now.
Because Larry Bundy Jr. has finally ended.
Yes.
Yay!
We have the aforementioned special guest over here from Millsy Island. It is the star of Gamesworld and numerous other video game-related television shows, Alex Verrey, a.k.a. Big Boy Barry.
Hey! Welcome, everybody. It's been a long flight over from Millsy Island.
How far away is it?
Oh, it's so damn far. It's about 10 years. It's about 20 years. About 20 years. About 23 years. Holy Moses. When I start to think about it, it's a long, long flight. But it's good. It's good. Good to be here. Good to be here. The weather's fine.
What did you play on the flight for 20 years?
Yeah, it's a lot.
You still working an old Game Boy? Or?
There's a lot of movies, and they bring you a ton of peanuts.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Heavily salted.
That's just the way we like them here on Retro and
That's just the way we like salted nuts.
So, speaking of Millsy Island, well, would you like us to call you Alex or Barry?
So. You can call me whatever the hell you like. It's hilarious. I still have like family members that call me Barry. So whatever makes it easier for you guys, I want you guys to feel relaxed. So
I'm going to go for calling you Jet, because then at least because I can't see you, at least I can imagine. I'm going to call you Jet. Oh no, the games mistress. I'm sorry, the games mistress. The games mistress.
Fine. Or Diane was her real name, but you can call me
games mistress. What are you doing to me?
I'm sorry. I'm breaking the fourth wall here.
I don't like this.
Childhood destroyed.
Oh yes.
Okay,
so that childhood of you for you.
Yes. So guys, we have Barry, aka the Big Boy, aka Alex, aka whatever you want to call him for the first hour tonight. Please write in. Please put your questions on a postcard and send them to us, and we'll pose these questions to Mr. Barry. Actually, no, stick them in the comments, and I'll keep you updated.
Sounds good.
Yes, so, Barry, if you don't mind, if we go right back to the beginning, we're going to actually go back before Gamesworld, if you don't mind, because I happen to know...
I am your guest on this video game journey of yours. It's like this is your gaming life. What are you going to spring on me?
Oh, don't worry, don't worry. It's nothing exciting, just your normal humdrum, run-of-the-mill stuff. But
this is exciting. I'm excited to be here. This is a fine way to spend a Friday night.
Is this your first live stream, Barry?
I am popping my live stream cherry right here tonight with you guys. It's a beautiful thought, right?
Yeah.
Guys, please don't flag this stream for inappropriate content. No.
Please don't. Please don't.
Okay, so, Barry... Let's go back into the midst of time to the early 90s here. You first appeared as a contestant on Dominic Diamond's Games Master, and just so happened to win the golden joystick. You won the Sonic the Hedgehog challenge, didn't you? Now, how did that opportunity arise, and what was the experience of appearing on Games Master rather, like?
My golden joystick is sat literally like 5 feet behind me. It's hilarious. I still got it. It takes pride of place on my bookshelf here. I still got it. That's absolutely. So I was on episode 2 of Games Master. You can find it on YouTube, kids. Go check. I'm sure somebody will provide a link, but you can. I think I'm there on YouTube. I think Guru Larry actually probably posted it on YouTube a while back. So how did you know what? It's weird, it's one of those faded stories, I guess. So a long time ago, this is what 92, I want to think. So there was no internet, there were no video game shows, right? And there was a thing called teletext. Who here remembers teletext?
Oh,
yes. Oh wow, he's
mentioned
teletext.
Oh, you've triggered Jack. You've triggered him.
Yeah, who told him to mention teletext there?
Was that the magic
you,
word?
isn't it?
Was that like...
See, it's you, isn't it? Go on,
So,
sorry, I interrupted you.
that was where you would get like your daily news content for video games, because there was no internet, right? So
listen to this, yeah.
You'd follow the internet, and you follow teletext, and there was a thing on the teletext saying that they were doing a new video game show. It was called Games Master, and they were offering audience tickets because the TV show was filming just as term started back, I think in like September. So as all the kids went back to school, Hewland International, the production company, decided to film the first series of Games Master just as all the kids went back to school. So the show was an unknown. Nobody knew about it. It didn't have a fan base, and they were struggling desperately to get people to sit in the damn audience. So they're giving away audience tickets on teletext. And I was actually alerted to this by another videator, close buddy of mine, a guy called Martin Mathers, who went on to play the Megabyte Millionaire on Gamesworld. And him and me went and phoned these guys up and got some audience tickets to go and see this show. And yeah, as I say, the show was a complete unknown, and they were desperate for contestants as well. So they didn't have anybody to sit in the audience, and they didn't have any contestants. And you know, as we were asking for tickets, they're like, yeah, you can have as many as you want. In fact, can you bring half the school with you? Which was terrible of them, really. And the schools were very annoyed, but they were trying desperately to get people. And then they said, like, do you know anyone good at video games? Because we're doing these challenges for something called a golden joystick. So if any of you guys are good at video games, then do let us know. And me and the Megabyte Millionaire were both, you know, video game obsessed, as we all are, right? And said, yeah, we're good at video games. And that was kind of it. So we went down to meet them, and you know, always been a cocky little asshole, especially as a kid. I was freaking annoying, even more than I am now. And they, you know, they said, well, what kind of games do you play? And away we go. So they had me on. They had me on playing Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was that. And they set me up a challenge for Sonic the Hedgehog to collect, I think it was like 150 rings or something. And they sent me off to practice, and I was very excited. And then I think like a week before the show was due to film, they asked me how I was getting on. And, you know, I was practicing the same damn level on Green Hill Zone on Sonic like 6 hours a day. And I said, yeah, you know what? I've got up to like 179 coins or rings. So I think I got no problem at all. And they then took that as a challenge. So they actually upped the ante on me and moved it from 140 coins to like 179 coins.
Oh, those swines.
Rings, those swines. And they made a big deal of it on the day. And there you go. So I went on. And interestingly, this is terrible. I shouldn't even say this. But interestingly, so the way I was practicing it, I mean, Jesus, I'm not the world's foremost speedrunner or something. There was none of that back in those days. But the way that I was practicing it, if I was to do it in the allotted time, you had to start by like doing a Sonic spin, and you had to jump a first set of spikes. So I would either get 179 rings every time, or I would die in the first second and a half. And they started the cameras, and away we go, and I died in the first second. So I literally died in the first second, and it would have made terrible television. So you know, they thought about it for about 30 seconds and said, you know what, we'll give you one more go. Let's try again, because it's going to be awful TV otherwise. And there you go. So I did it. I went on. I got my golden joystick, and I thought that was that. Little did I know. So what a showbiz story. Little did I know.
So were you actually the first winner of the golden joystick on Games Master?
No.
You were on show 2, weren't you? Sorry.
I was on show 2, but I think it's interesting. I mean, even my memory is a bit hazy on this, but I think it was the first filming day. I think it was the first film, so they weren't sure which show it was going to go out on, if it was show 1 or 2. So I think I was actually on the first filming day. So if I wasn't the first recipient of a golden joystick, I was certainly, I think, within the first 4 or 5, certainly. Yeah. And there you go.
Stuff, man.
There you go.
Excellent. And it sits proudly on his shelf behind him, and he strokes it nightly. Sorry.
I'm looking at it now. I stroke my joystick nightly.
Sorry, I had to bring in the Dominic Diamond joke. I'm sorry. But anyway, talking about Dominic Diamond, how was Dom? Did you get the chance to meet him? I assume that you did. How was he?
Yeah, well, of course, I got the chance to meet him because I was on the show. So there was.
Well, it could have been that they just shoved you onto the show, and then Dominic said, "Do this challenge." Then you did the challenge, and they said, "Get lost! I don't want to touch you, lad. I don't want to be mixing with the hoi polloi."
Wow, you didn't tell me you were getting Dominic on the show tonight. Look at that.
See, we've had Larry Bundy Jr. and Dominic Diamond.
I tell you, he knocks the show. It's great. Look at that. Amazing impressions Alex. Every night. That's okay.
I'm sorry. Go on.
I actually got a chance to look. I spent a lot of time with Dom actually over the years because it was the same production company. So the company was a production company called Hewlands International. So these were the guys that made Gamesworld. So once I came back to do the Big Boy Barry stuff, I would spend a lot of time with Dom, and you would share the same production teams. So we'd go out to do CES or E3 or features across America or whatever, and Dom and I would often be together on location because he was filming for Games Master, I was filming for Gamesworld, but they'd be sharing production crews and production teams to cut down on costs. So I spent quite a lot of time with him. I never had an issue with Dom. I never had an issue with Dom at all. He was always polite. There was, I think, a fairly sizable age barrier, which I don't think means much nowadays. But back when I was a kid, it was pretty obvious. And I think through those first years, it's interesting because Games Master was, he became a celebrity pretty quickly, right? I think by sort of season 2 or 3 of that show, he was pretty damn famous through Games Master, and I think there was a little bit of that going on. There was perhaps, I think there was a lot of that going on. I think he was definitely seen as the A show because he's on Channel 4, and I think there was a bit of a stigma amongst production teams. And I think the Gamesworld stuff, because we were on Sky, which was still in its formative years, was considered lower grade, dare I say it, kind of like the gulf between film and TV these days. So there was a little bit of them and us stuff going on, but I never had an issue with Dom. Dom was always really nice to me, pretty polite to me. He has an acerbic wit. He has quite a sarcastic manner to him, but again, I don't really recall an issue with him. I always got on pretty well with him and spent a good few weeks traveling across America. God only knows what he must have thought of me as this cocky sort of 15-year-old kid traveling with him. But got on pretty well with him.
Was Dave Perry there as well when you were tripping across America?
No, they never brought Dave Perry out to the States.
Most the pissy.
They actually, well, okay, interestingly, we did work with Dave Perry in the States with Dominic Diamond, but not that Dave Perry. We worked with Dave Perry from Shiny Entertainment, who was creating Earthworm Jim. So there you go.
One of my legends.
Another story. Oh, he's a lovely guy as well. I had lunch at his house, and he's got an incredibly hot wife. He's a beautiful house, really lovely car. It was a wonderful day. Really nice. He's a lovely gent. He's a lovely guy. Really good guy. Very talented. That was a surreal day of filming there. But Dave Perry I worked with loads because I'd worked with him on the other shows, right? So he was working on Gamesworld at the time. He did some commentary stuff on Gamesworld, and I've known Dave throughout the years.
Okay, so was it your relationship with Dave the Games Animal Perry that got you the opportunity on Gamesworld?
No, none of that. No. Gamesworld. So the opportunity on Gamesworld, I say again, it was the same production company as Games Master. And so, I did my golden joystick thing. I did the Sonic thing. I got my joystick, and I thought that was it. I was 13 at the time, 13, 14 years old. And then a few months later, I get a call out of the blue from one of the production members, and they said, "Look, we're doing this show, this spin-off show called Game Zone for Sky TV, and we've got a few ideas. We're kind of looking for these resident champions like gladiators. Can you come in and have a chat with us?" So what are you going to say? Of course. Yeah, of course. Like this 14-year-old kid, of course I'll have a chat with you about it. And that was that. And so I went in to have a chat with them. And, they kind of explained what they were doing. And they explained that they didn't have this huge budget. They were worth of entertainment in one day. So on Monday, you'd have You'd have, the challenges where the kids would play each other. They'd do the same thing on the Wednesday night, and then on the Friday night you'd have the Beat the Elite, where the winner would take on the champions.
So those were all. So you just dropped out for a second. So did you say that those were all filmed on the same day? They were filmed on the same day. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit of TV magic for you. So they would film. they would film at least 3 shows. In fact, I think they would do 6 sometimes in a day. It was crazy. But they would, it's absolutely nuts. So they would film it all in one day, so they could get the audience in, they could get the kids in, and they would just blast through it. So they were pretty good at what they were doing. That was actually a really good crew, and I think by the time they got to season 3, they were getting very slick at it. And it worked out as cost-effective TV. I mean, the budgets were pretty small because, again, it's Sky TV. It was being stripped across 5 nights, and Sky didn't want to pay a ton of cash for this content, I think. So it was pretty cost-effective, and that was quite a cheap way of doing TV was to do 3 nights worth of entertainment in one day. And actually, the Big Boy Barry stuff that I ended up doing, the spin-off stuff, the BTV and the Barry Joypad, was by far the most expensive stuff for them, because that was shot like a drama almost. That was shot like it was one camera. It wasn't in a set. It was in a proper location, and we'd have to do take after take, and that was a very expensive show to make in comparison to the other 4.
Oh wow.
So I went back to meet them. We had a chat, and it was David Williams. David Williams was a researcher on that show back in the day. So he was working for Hewlands International. He was doing some research stuff, and I worked on the character with him. So he actually was responsible for Big Boy Barry.
Oh, nice. Awesome. So did you actually go and sit in a trailer with David Williams? Hold on a minute. I'm going to stop this right now. No. Did you actually sit in a trailer and discuss the character of Big Boy Barry together? Whose idea was it?
Trailer. There was no trailer. There was no trailer, but I did sit and discuss it with him. Yeah, there was another guy called Steve Carsey, who was a lovely guy and was producing, and we fleshed out the character together. Yeah. Like the initial, I love how un-PC things were back in '93. So the original name of the character, oh, this is so sad. They wanted to call the.
You cut out then. What was it? You wanted to
what was it?
Fat Boy. Like, Fat Boy. Oh. They wanted to call the. Yeah, you can't do that to an.
What did that do to you,
kid? That's just too much. Wait, can you guys hear me, or have we cut out completely?
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, there you go. So, their thought was that it was going to be like Fats Domino, so they wanted to do it affectionately, and they were going to call it like Fat Boy. And he was going to be much more like the Harry Enfield Loads of Money character. So they kind of wanted me out there to be. They thought of him as a villain to begin with, and I'd be throwing cash out to the crowds and just be terribly, terribly hated and obnoxious. And then I think it was Mr. Williams and me that thought, you know what, I don't want to go back to school being known as Fat Boy. I mean, Jesus, it's hard enough being an overweight kid as it was. So I think we changed it to Big Boy, and we kind of dropped the whole Essex swagger, and he became a more likable character rather than a sort of hated villain. And a lot of that was David. A lot of that was David Williams, and he kind of. I hadn't had much experience of stage stuff at that point, and he was the kind of guy who worked on catchphrases with me, the whole very simplistic but big is best kind of chants and stuff from the crowd. He'd work that through with me, so we'd.
Okay.
Awesome stuff.
So Big Boy Barry was just one of many videators who, as you mentioned, were the sort of gladiators or WWF wrestler style people on Gamesworld. So other than your own persona, Big Boy Barry, what were your other favorite videator gimmicks?
Well, season 1 was possibly the most interesting of them. I think if you go back and find some of the season 1 stuff, I mean, it just looks awful now. It's absolutely shocking. And it got so much better for season 2 and season 3. Because I mean, in season 1, they didn't know what they were looking for, right? They were experimenting. Some of the people they brought in were good on camera, but terrible at games. Some of the people they brought in were great at games and terrible on camera. They were trying to find that mixture of both, which is why I had relative success. So thank God that most of them were utterly fucking terrible in season 1. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had a chance to shine. It's like, but you know, they brought in. I mean, they brought in this lovely middle-aged lady called Letty Edwards, and they dressed her up as a grandma. So it was Grandma Letty Edwards, and bless her heart, she was lovely, but she could only fucking play columns. That was the only game she could play, was columns. She could only play columns. You know, and it was supposed to be random which videator came out to challenge the kid, but of course that wasn't. It was always predetermined. So anytime you found out the game was going to be columns, you knew it was going to be Grandma Letty Edwards, you know. And you know, she was a lovely lady, but once again she could only really play one game, so that kind of disappeared after year 1. And then you had a character called the Ninja, who was a lovely guy, and he was you know, this Asian guy that had some kung fu stuff, and yeah, it was a terrible stereotype and an outrageous cliche, and he'd just come on and backflip and sort of and do kung fu stuff, and you know, he was a trained actor and performer. So he actually played one of the Ninja Turtles in the first movies, you know.
Oh,
so
really?
He was inside the anime. I think he was Leonardo. His name was David something. So he's quite a small guy, and he worked on a lot of Henson stuff. So he worked on the sitcom Dinosaurs, and he was in the Donatello suit, and you know, so he'd come in and backflip and do some karate stuff, and then lose at every game. It was just awful. It was just shocking. They tried so hard to get him good at games, and he was just terrible, you know. And then they had a guy called the Executioner, who was played by a guy called Gary Harrod, who was working on Mean Machines magazine. This was back in the day when video game magazines were still like a thing and still like really popular. And yeah, he came out. He basically looked like a gimp. And you know, I don't think you get away with it now. He was dressed in bondage stuff, and he didn't say anything. He was supposed to be the sort of Undertaker guy, and he was supposed to be the ringer. He was supposed to be, you know, they thought that because of his heritage of working for a video game mag, they thought he was going to be unbeatable. So they purposely didn't have him say anything, because they thought that mystique would be enough to carry him through if he couldn't be beaten at games. But you know, I think the stage shot got to him, and he would lose quite a lot. So it just, well, you'd have this guy coming out looking like an S&M party and lose at games and not say a word, and it wasn't terribly entertaining. So, you know, it was interesting. That first year was really interesting because they figured out what worked and what didn't, and then I think by year 2 it got significantly better, and most of the videos changed. They only kept 2 or 3 from that original series.
Okay, so the first series of Gamesworld, I suppose you were watching it from a sort of middle distance, or did you actually watch it on TV, or did you ever actually attend any recording sessions for that?
So you've kind of lost me. So originally it was called Game Zone, by the way. So there's a little fact for you. They had to change the name because there was a magazine by the name of Game Zone. So then they changed it to Gamesworld. So, well, I was on Gamesworld a lot. What do you mean attended recording sessions? You've lost me now.
Sorry, the first series of Gamesworld. You joined in
I was
series
on Series
2.
1.
No, you were in Series 1. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry,
no, not at all. Not at all. So I was on Series 1 as that's okay. Don't you worry about it. That's fine. So your research has let you down, sir. So no, I was on Series 1 as Gamesworld. I was on Series 1 as Gamesworld. And Martin Mathers, that guy I told you about before, so he was on as a contestant. He came on as a contestant on Series 1, and then he joined as a videator in Series 2. But no, I was there from the start. They brought me in from the start. And they kept me, and they kept 2 others. A guy called the Games Messiah, who was played by Doug Jones, who's quite a famous guy in the gaming industry. He was a well-known PR guy at the time, and he's still in video games today. And he was basically Jesus. That was the shtick they were playing with him. And there was a sort of public school boy character called Tristan Moriarty, who was actually brought in by David Walliams. He was a friend of David Walliams, a family friend of David Walliams, and he brought him in. And he was actually very successful. He was pretty good at games, and the character was played very well. And he stuck around for about 3 years, I think. Tristan Moriarty.
Right, so I've suitably embarrassed myself there with my lack of knowledge of Gamesworld, but we do have some very knowledgeable...
Every day's a learning day.
Yeah, on CITV. Does anybody remember that? Never mind. But we do have some knowledgeable questioners out there in comments land. We have a question for Bazza from Chris Newton.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. Could you get me Bob Mills' autograph?
Probably. I could probably get you Bob Mills' autograph. Yes, I probably could. That's a rather humdrum question, Chris. But yes, I probably could get you Bob Mills' autograph. He was a good guy. I like Bob. I like Bob very much. So Bob was a guy that, I don't know. He was a lot of people thought he was an unusual choice for the host of Gamesworld, but he actually worked really well.
I thought he was awesome. I really liked him.
He was.
Yeah.
He had a very dry sense of humor. And, you know, the thing about Bob, he was very nice to everybody. I won't have a bad word to say against him, but he didn't suffer fools gladly, right? And I think it was hard for him. I sensed it. I never had this conversation with him, but I sensed it was hard for him working with some of the videators who, you know, he didn't get a lot out of. Bob likes to ad-lib a lot. He likes to throw around a lot of stuff. And I'd have a lot of fun with Bob because, you know, I'd come up and I'd do my shtick, and he wouldn't stick on lines, and I wouldn't stick on lines, and we would just bounce it around. We'd have fun, and he'd try to do that with some of the other guys, and it would just fall apart, and they had to do retake after retake after retake because, you know, some of these guys, they weren't actors, they weren't performers, they were gamers, and they just didn't work so well when Bob would go off and do his thing. So Bob was always very kind to me. Quite embarrassingly so, you know, and I think by year 3, when there'd be, you know, yet another new churn, and when there'd be new guys coming in to perform characters and videators, he would always say, look, just watch me and the big boy and take it from there. So got on very well with him, and I went to a few tapings of some other shows that he did as well, and yeah, we do still stay in touch from time to time. Haven't spoken to him in a few years, but he's a great guy and a very good performer.
So were the things that Bob Mills said to the contestants, the put-downs in between the actual gaming parts, were they ad-libbed or were they decided beforehand, scripted?
No, they were always ad-libbed. They, you know, again, it was an interesting time in television, and you could get away with some stuff on Sky. You just couldn't do it now, not to kids, and it was always ad-libbed. And sometimes he would just go off on one, like completely go off on one, and they'd have to stop him. It's like, no, Bob, we can't say that. You can't do that. You know,
really?
And so yeah, absolutely. So they would stop him and start again. He was always very funny, and sometimes he kind of lost himself. He'd go off on one and just like, I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's stop and do it again. So it was always kind of fun to watch.
What sort of Mills gems were cut out, left on the cutting room floor then?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, sometimes, you know, it could be kind of hard because by the time the kids got to like the Friday, and then they'd have to take on the videators, and, you know, and so the way that they would do it is they played this game to begin with, Cash Dash, I think they called it, where it was a really botched Amiga game, and the kids would you know, the contestant would accumulate a number of coins to bet against the videators, you know, and sometimes these poor kids, you know, they would get thrashed by the videators 3 times in a row, and they'd end up with like nothing, you know. And Bob would keep pressing that button, keep poking on them, and like, oh my God, you're leaving with nothing. What will your parents think? What will your friends say? You know. And sometimes, just sometimes, you'd get a kid that just wouldn't see the humor in it, and it all got a bit much for them, and, you know, the tears started rolling. And as soon as you got a small kid crying on stage, then they'd have to, you know, it's like, but don't think that Bob was a bully. He wasn't. He was always in the nicest sort of possible way, but sometimes
then the kids have got to learn their lesson as well, haven't they?
They got to learn their lesson that life ain't always easy, and I think, you know, Bob sort of reveled in that. Don't forget, Bob was never a kids' TV presenter, and he would never present the show as such. He would, and I think that's the charm of it, right? He would never bow down to that lowest common denominator. He would always present it as a game show, and yeah, and sometimes it wouldn't gel. So, you know, it's all good, but he could be pretty funny towards the kids and towards his co-commentators as well.
Oh yeah, I love Bob Mills. But moving away from that side, from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and let's move to either Tuesday or Thursday, because I'm at the risk of embarrassing myself again, because I don't know. Was Barry TV on Tuesday or Thursday or both?
No, it was Tuesday. Barry TV was Tuesday. Barry TV was Tuesday. Thursday was live night, so that was
Yes.
the one night of the week they went out live, and that was presented by a guy called Jeremy Daldry, and another good friend of mine still, I'm pleased to say, Andy Collins, who now he presents BBC Three County radio every morning, actually, and he presented Family Fortunes for a little while. In fact, he's a stand-up guy. He's a warm-up guy. Sorry, he's a warm-up guy, and he warms up crowds before TV. So he's very famous in that area, and he does like X Factor and all of these the big ITV shows. He's a warm-up artist. He's very good at that. So he would present Thursdays doing the live stream, and my show was Tuesday from year 2 onwards. So year 1, they had this show called Madame Pixel's Peep Parlor, which was a computer-generated kind of grandma giving tips and cheats out to kids. It was even worse than it sounds. And it was just, you got to look at some of that stuff. So she was terrible, but the actual show was quite notable because that was really the formative years of David Walliams. So you would have these different characters come on and give tips and cheats to kids. And each of those characters was always played by David. So in a slightly different wig or jacket. I mean, that was as far as the budget would go. So David would play about 30 different characters. It was pretty hilarious. But it got old real quick, I think. So they scrapped Madame Pixel for after year 1. And then year 2, they gave me my own show. And that was Tuesdays on Sky One.
Cool. Right, we have a related question from AD Sneaker Freak, who asks, Barry, whatever happened to that little scouse treacle, Charlene, from your weekly show?
Hey, my living lover from Liverpool, Charlene. I named her Charlene. So, in fact, Charlene was originally Marlene. So year 2, so year 2 on the Beat the Elite stuff, everything got a little bit bigger and better, and they started figuring it out, as I say. So what happened on year 2 is, I got sidekicks, just like the best WWE guys. I got sidekicks. So I got 2 dolly birds to come out with. One was called Charlene and one was called Marlene, and they were both aspiring actresses, but one of them was just a lot better than the other, to be honest. So it was just a little easy to work with and a lot better. And I named them Charlene and Marlene. We gave them names after a while, and who you guys know as Charlene was originally Marlene, but I think Charlene worked a lot better. So for year 3, she actually joined the show full time as my living girlfriend, and she would join as on BTV. So she's such a lovely person. She really is. Her name was Sarah Phyllis. That's her real name. And yeah, I don't think she's in the biz anymore. I think she does the odd little bit and pieces. She did some radio work. I think she does a little bit here and there, but she's happily married with a lovely family, and she's a great person. And I still speak to her on Facebook from time to time. Lovely person, and always really easy to work with. It was David Walliams that was always the hardest damn guy to work with.
Oh really?
It was always David that would throw Sarah and I off. So Sarah and I would always stick on point. David was just this firework for 3 years when we worked with him. But all good fun and games.
Would he make you laugh during the filming? Would you end up corpsing and have to film something again?
There wasn't a scene where I didn't corpse, and I think the first year I had my own show, which was year 2 of Gamesworld. So that was called Barry's Joypad.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't great, and every single freaking scene, when I'm supposed to be serious, I'm just cracking up. Like I couldn't even hide it. It was impossible to do because he would just go off on one and do an ad lib, and every take was different, and he would revel in that. He wouldn't do a successful take. A take wasn't successful for him unless he managed to make you corpse. And unless he managed to switch it up, and unless he managed to put in a double entendre, and the stuff that we got away with, the level of perversion that he would bring into every scene was just unbelievable. So if you go back and watch any of my stuff on certainly the first year, Barry's Joypad, I'm corpsing in every scene. It was impossible not to.
Well, speaking of perversion, whose idea was it to put Jet from Gladiators in a rubber cat suit?
That was a good idea, huh? That was
a
good idea. But
Yeah.
again, I'm not sure you'd get away with that now at 6 o'clock in the evening. I don't know if you would.
You
What do you
definitely
think?
wouldn't. My wife never heard of this show.
I don't think you would.
Just before I came on this, I was just watching back some Game On. She's like, "What are you watching?"
Yeah, it's like it is bordering on porn. It really is. And again,
really is,
some of the stuff that some of her lines, it was just like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Who's like, do you know what? I actually that's an interesting one, and actually it's a question I've never been asked. Whose idea was it? I don't know. That was predetermined by the time I got there, and I think the role that she had to play in the show wasn't entirely defined until we got a few weeks in. You know, it's amazing how little was planned. So the first year that we did Barry's Joypad, if you watch the first few episodes, every episode of the first season until we got to like episode 10 was shot in a different house and a different location because we couldn't find somewhere that would allow us to film for sort of 26 weeks. So you can notably see that the location of Barry's Joypad changes very dramatically from week to week. And I think the first few weeks of that, you'll see Jet is by a pool, and then she's on a bed, and then she's obviously in a studio. And they weren't entirely sure of the role that she was going to play. I think originally it was thought that she was going to do a little bit more than tips and cheats, but yeah, Salavida, I think that didn't work out, and I think that's why they brought in Charlene to be a sort of female love interest for Big Boy Barry as things went on. But as to whose idea it was, I don't know. I just think they wanted to sex the show up a little bit, and I guess it worked. She was always really, really popular, huh?
I'll say.
She was always lovely, but she was lovely. I'm not going to say anything terrible about her. I'm really not, because she was always lovely, delightful, really nice. But I don't know. It's like conversation was perhaps a little bit tough. I think she was going out with Hunter at the time, right? She was going out with another gladiator at the time. And conversations would always kind of just be about that and very little else. So yeah, it must have been hard for her because she wasn't in every week, right? So she would come in like one day every few weeks, and they would just shoot a ton of stuff with her. They would shoot enough for like 5 or 6 episodes, and that way they didn't have to pay her as much, right? Because they would just do one day with her every few weeks. And I was rarely in on the days that she would come in because I would have a resting day or be off doing voiceovers or shooting features or whatever, and then she would go into the location and just, you know, blast through a whole bunch of cheats and tips on a bed. So I didn't get to see her that much.
Blast through on a bed.
I see what you
Sorry.
did there. I did actually walk into her dressing room when she was getting changed once. I won't tell you what I saw because I don't think it'd be fair to poor Diane. But that was an interesting day for a kid my age.
Well, speaking of female TV presenters, Gail Porter.
Yeah.
Was it like
totally interactive game show on
Yes.
IDV?
What was it like working with her?
That was a great show.
Hello?
I'm still here. Sorry,
Oh.
I'm still here. What was it like working with her? Yeah, I think we had different personalities, Gail and I. So she was nice. It was hard for us both, I think. It was live television. It was an ambitious concept. It was pretty tough to film. I had a blast doing that show. I got to fly into Scotland once a week and stay there for a couple of days. And actually, she was older than she looked. I say that in the nicest possible way, but I think we both kind of looked the same age. But I think she was like a 10-year age gap. So we were sort of fighting that. And she was undergoing some family issues. There was a member of her family was in quite ill health at the time, so she had some issues during filming, and it made things a little bit tough, I think. But again, generally very convivial, very professional. We don't stay in touch nowadays, more's the pity. But yeah, I enjoyed that show a lot.
Cool. Right, so moving things along a bit, back to Gamesworld, actually. In the last season of Gamesworld, you tried your hand at co-commentary. So
Yes.
how did that come about? And did you enjoy that? How did you find the transition into
You've done your
commentary?
research, haven't you? You have done your research.
Well, only on
you.
certain things. Only on certain things. I didn't know that you were on season 1. Sorry. See, I'm gonna defend myself and say that I thought after the first series, every Videator was wiped. I have this in my brain that everybody was sacked after the first series. No,
so
but I'm obviously
if you
wrong.
do Google searches for Big Boy Barry, anytime you'll see an image of me wearing that dreadful green t-shirt, and then that kind of got wiped out. And again, everything got a little bit better, a little bit more cash for season 2 and 3, and things took a bit of an upswing from then, because that's when we started doing the Big Boy Barry show. I don't think everybody that was working on Gamesworld didn't want it to end. They really didn't. Like it really was a great family atmosphere. The writers, the producers, the directors, the team, everybody loved making it. And I think we wanted to keep doing it. And I don't think we wanted it to end. And by all rights, it shouldn't have ended. Damn it, I'm still bitter about it. We had some great ideas for year 4 of the show. We were already in loose negotiations. We were in loose conversations over what we would do for year 4 and the format that the show would take. We were going to do something pretty different, which was going to be a lot of fun. But Salavi, it was not to be. It was actually Hewland, from what I understand. I guess I'll never know the real truth of it, because I wasn't actually in the offices on a daily basis, and I wasn't privy to the conversations. But it was Hewland that I believe decided to pull out from it. They wanted to concentrate on drama, so they went off to make a show for CITV called Geeks, which I cameoed in the title sequence. So was technically in every episode of Geeks, with I think Ronnie Akada. What's her name? You know, the comedian.
Ancona. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, she was in that, and yeah, and I played a bully in that series, and that shared a lot of the production team. And they went off to make a show for Sky One called Mile High, which was like a football soap opera thing. And they wanted to concentrate more on drama, so they moved away from Gamesworld, which was a crying shame, because we all loved it. And then when the opportunity came back to do it again, so Sky were looking for a morning show that was going to be cheap to make, and they could strip across 5 nights. So they brought Gamesworld back for a morning slot, and this time Andy Collins presented it. So my old friend Andy Collins took over from Bob Mills. Mm-hmm. I don't actually know why. I think it was a budgetary issue. I don't think Bob wanted to come back and do the morning format. And so by that time, I think it really wasn't. It wasn't an ego thing. I would have been involved with the show no matter what. But I was trying to concentrate very much on a presenting career. So I had gone off and done Tiggs, where I was a presenter, and that was a CITV show. And I wasn't really interested in just coming back and doing the Videator stuff, because that would have been, one day every few weeks and whatever. And, that just didn't really excite me too much. So I wanted to present it. I'll be very honest. I wanted to present the show. And they said, well, you know what? We're going to go with Andy. We think Andy's the right guy for it. I said, well, that's a great choice. He's a great guy. And good luck with that. But if you'd like me to be involved, then what else can we do? So we came up with the idea of me commentating, which gave me a little more airtime, and was a different set of challenges for me. And I had a blast on that. I thought that was so much more fun for me. Possibly not for the audience, but that was much more fun for me, because you know what, the Videator stuff was kind of tough, because a lot of us that were good people, I think, like Mr. Mathers and myself, there were a couple of others who were good. We would actually take it pretty seriously, and you'd have to. By year 2 or 3, here's the thing: by year 2 or 3, the show had gotten popular enough that the quality of contestants was really good and better than us, And I was, Season 1, I won every freaking episode because these kids were just terrible that they got on. But by years 2 or 3, people really wanted to win this stuff, so they got really good contestants who are frankly much better than me. And it would be quite stressful, I'd have to spend a lot of time practicing and playing the game, and you'd get pretty nervous because you didn't want to lose, you wanted to beat them, and it was much more stressful. But doing the commentary stuff was great. You could just have fun, and there was no stress. It was a much easier gig for me, and I enjoyed that immensely. And I think Larry Bundy was on that series. Larry Bundy was on the was on that Aztec series, and and I agreed with them from the start that if they let me commentate, I would appear on the final of the series in character, wearing the old clothes, and I'd go on as a videator in the final. And I did. I was on the final, and they brought me out as a special guest surprise videator right at the end. And they rigged it that I would lose, but yeah, that was kind of fun.
So this is a good question, actually. How much of Gamesworld was actually rigged?
Yeah, surprising amount.
What percentage would you say? And how many of your own fights, in inverted commas, had to be reshot or fixed?
Oh, should I even answer this? I don't know.
That's 20 years ago. Hewland won't mind.
I don't think humans will mind. So the videators that would appear were never randomized. It was always supposed to be random, but it was never random. That was always predetermined. So the kids never knew. Yeah, exactly. Shock, right? Because I mean, what you're gonna do? So there's like 9 videators. So they're not going to get all 9 of us dressed up in character, backstage, and just standing around, right? So the kids knew it was so funny. So when you do the filming days, what would happen is the contestants, there would be like a big green room. There'd be a big area where you'd hang out, because filming would take a long time. So you'd hang out, and they had all the games set up to play. So that would give the kids a chance to practice the games that they were going to play before going on air. Us videators knew about it for weeks. So us videators got a few weeks to practice, whereas the kids only got a couple of hours to practice the games. But what would happen is, they'd be backstage, they'd be practicing the games. They had a very long filming day, because they've got they've got to do 2 shows before they get to the videator thing, which was the Friday night show. So they'd be filming for about 6 hours, and then suddenly the videators that were going to be used on the day would turn up. We'd turn up, and then we'd come into the building. And, as soon as we walked in, you could just, you'd always look straight at the contestants, and the contestants would look at you, and they would either like, oh, shit, not him, or like, oh, yes, thank God we've got him, depending on who it was. So as soon as you walked in, they knew which videators they were going to be taking on, and they'd either be happy or sad, depending on of course, who it was. So that aspect was always rigged. As to winning or losing, it was genuinely never rigged. That was never ever rigged.
You sure?
Well, no, don't worry. I'll tell you. Sometimes you would get some dubious stuff, like the technology tough. So they had to come up with different solutions, because the consoles were always had to run like backstage. So the consoles were running backstage so they could get a video feed. It was much harder to do, and that they had to come up with like custom cables. So you would have to have like the controller cables would be like 30 meters long, and they were all sort of buried under the ground so people didn't trip up on them, and that way they could be on stage. And sometimes they just wouldn't work. So very often you would have controllers just tapping out, and that could work for you or against you. And sometimes just as a contestant would be about to lose, they would say that their controller's broken. Sometimes the videators would do that. And you'd always, unfortunately, have to give them the benefit of the doubt, because there were often technical problems. Sometimes they were real, sometimes they were imaginary. So there was kind of that aspect. The only shows that were rigged were the grand finals, where the kids were playing to win the big prizes, because you got people watching all year round for 26 weeks. You do a big tournament, and then you'd have a grand final. And the grand final would take place, it would be an hour-long show, and that took place on a Saturday afternoon. The grand prize would always be like a holiday to Florida and an arcade machine. These really great prizes, and let's just be honest, nobody wants to watch a show where these kids walk off with nothing, right? So, so what would happen is you'd have, you'd basically, they would manipulate it to make sure that the last videator that would go on would either, lose or win, depending on how well the kid was doing. But they wanted to make sure that the kid walked away with a decent prize. And I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, I think that's good to hear. Apparently that happened on a lot of shows back then, the sort of kids' game shows, where the kids were just given the prizes because it made for good television. But
Well, you know, as I say, week to week, it genuinely wasn't rigged, right? There was no need for them to do so because the kids weren't actually fighting for prizes week in week. Well, they were fighting for like a jacket or something,
Yeah.
right? But there was no need to actually rig it. It's just when it gets right to the end, like imagine that. Imagine if a kid is fighting for a holiday to Florida and an arcade machine, and then they come out and play a Videator, and then they lose, right? So. You know, but there would always be 3 Videators that would play, and so our lineup was always predetermined. You know, and so you know, here I am, I'm backstage, or one of the other Videators is backstage, and the producer will come back and say, "Okay, you can't win this," yeah, because otherwise kids just bet all of his points against you. You can't win this. You can have, otherwise you'll walk off with otherwise he'll walk off with nothing, and that's fine. That was always fine. You know, that's okay. You just got to make it look real.
Right. Oh, okay. I was just going to say, yeah.
Did you ever accidentally win?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Did you ever accidentally win?
Yes, actually I did. Yeah, on NHL hockey, I actually did. And so what we had to do is I did.
I'm sorry, he was just hockey. That crap.
Yeah, well, it was actually that did actually happen once. And so what happened is when we got like right to the end of the game, I purposely paused the game. I hit pause, and then I had no, it was all I could do. So I just stood up and completely went out of character and said, "Bob, we got to stop it. My controller's broken. It won't unpause." Because I knew that this kid wasn't going to win. So then they had to start it again, and they had to do a different tactic to allow the kid to win. So yeah, that did happen on a couple of occasions. Yeah.
Well, tactics for losing sounds like a certain football team that I follow. But anyway, let's not talk about football. Let's talk about you, Mr. Barry. So, riddle me this, Mr. Alex Verrey, aka Big Boy Barry. On the
How
computer,
many people are watching? Tell me that.
I can tell you that. There's 18 people are currently watching. So hello.
Go. It's a huge audience.
So
is
Barry,
that like bigger or smaller than your old numbers, or
probably about the same? Probably about the same. I think you know what? It used to get huge ratings. For the first couple of years, used to get huge ratings because, well, there really wasn't much else going on, right? So you had Games Master, but that was once a week. And again, it's an interesting time. It was an interesting time for video gaming guys because, you didn't have magazines would come out once a month, and even when magazines came out, as your PlayStation started to come out, as N64 started to come out, there was no way of seeing these games in action. You could see screenshots in a magazine once a month, but there was no internet. So just imagine that there was just no internet. So if TV shows like ours were the only way that you could really get to see new games moving in action. And so I think kids would rightly lap this stuff up because it was the only form that they had. So Gamesworld actually did very well for Sky. They were really happy with the numbers. It performed pretty well.
Gamesworld was a sort of forerunner to YouTube. Actually, that's a good question. Have you ever actually thought of bringing back Big Boy Barry for a YouTube channel to resurrect the character?
You know what? I absolutely have. I've had too many conversations about this. I just need to get my ass in gear. If anyone out there wants to work on it with me, then get in touch. Let's do it. But this comes up all. I was having a conversation with somebody fairly recently about that, and yes is the answer. I'd love to do it. I've just got to figure out what we do with it, and I got to find the time to do it. It's a terrible cliche, but truly, I'm a busy old boy these days. I got a lot going on, and if I was out of work and had nothing going on in my life, then I could dedicate all my time to it. But it really is. It's just a time issue. But I'd love to bring it back. I actually think that I've been involved over the years with so many conversations about bringing Big Boy back or doing more video game TV shows. I've done pitches, I've done pilots. There's stuff that happens all the time. There's actually a very well-known producer who worked on Gamesworld, and we almost got it brought back. Barry was going to be working in a kebab shop we had this idea of Barry's Kebabs, and I was going
nice.
to be working at a kebab shop, and we fleshed out a pilot, and we did some shooting for it, and it was not to be, sadly.
What's the chances of seeing it? Are you going to upload that?
No, it's never going to be seen, I'm afraid.
Oh.
It's never
Oh, is it too embarrassing?
No, it's not embarrassing at all. It's just I don't own that footage, so I can't do that.
We could try and get it. We could pay them. We could say, please.
You could, yeah, but I doubt you're ever going to get it. And you know, a lot of the people that were involved with the original show, you know, we've tried to bring it back a few times. We can do Barry in Space and Barry's Space Pod, and I can't even remember some of the more crazy ideas that we've had to bring the character back and to bring the show back. And I actually do think, I still believe that there is a place for video gaming on TV. It'd be very different these days, but I believe there is a place for it on TV. And if not, I mean, YouTube, as you say, YouTube is kind of where it's at these days anyway, right? That's what it's all about. So trying to find the right format. I don't really want to set up a camera and just talk to a camera about video games. It's what everybody's doing. But if there was a way to do some well-produced content, and if anyone's got an idea, then yeah, love to bring it back. Love to get involved.
I have an idea. You could team up with Larry Bundy Jr. and I, Harry Eck, and call it Barry, Harry, and Larry.
There you go.
Hey.
Right there. TV gold. TV gold.
Hello.
I like Larry. I love Larry.
Is he going to defend himself? Is he going to unmute himself and defend himself?
Or that's enough? No.
No, sorry. No, I kept quiet. So I didn't want
He's here.
I am here. Hello. No, I didn't want to get in the way of Barry's voice. You know, I wanted to hear his lovely narrative voice, and so I didn't want to get in the way.
Sounds.
Yes, your lovely vocals, your chords.
So, Larry, I'm aware that Barry's time is running a bit low now. So, have you any questions for him while you're here?
Yeah, there's one question. I was looking up vlogs of people who are contestants of Gamesworld over the years, and somebody said they're on the second series, and they said the place where you filmed it was opposite Sarson's vinegar factory, and it smelt of vinegar, the whole building or something. Is that true?
I have no idea. I can't remember it. I can't remember it being opposite Sarson's factory.
Well, there's massive silos.
It was, yeah. It was. I mean, it was. I tell you. So if I'm right, if I'm not mixing up my season 2 with my season 3, which is possible. So it was the nuclear waste ground, I think, for season 2, right? And so they it was in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it was cold. I remember that they were filming in winter, and I do remember that on a couple of occasions it was thick snow, and it was just so cold, and it wasn't hospitable because it wasn't a TV studio. It was much better for not being a TV studio. The first season was shot at Sky Studios in Osterley, and it looked like it looked just awful, and it was a TV studio. So this year 2 and 3 they went on proper locations, and it was a very cool location, but it was cold and unhospitable, and it was tough to work on, and I think a lot of people were pretty grumpy for that. But I don't remember it smelling of vinegar. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, no, I just read it on somebody's vlog. They said it smelled.
Smell of vinegar.
Yeah. Or pickled
remember that.
Vinegar or pickled onions, they said. Yeah.
Can't remember that. Who did we have any famous contestants on season? I don't remember.
On which season?
I think Larry was talking about season 2.
Okay. Which season was the video game journalist?
I'll tell you one thing. The guy, I was on another game show that was presented by Violet Berlin called Head to Head. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The guy who won the Champions of Champions was on the third series of Gamesworld, and he got his ass kicked in the first round. So I just found it hilarious because he beat me in the final. So I was just very happy about him getting
Head to Head. You know what? I do remember that. What channel was that on?
Children's Channel.
There you go. I remember that. Yeah, Violet's nice. Violet's a nice person. Yeah, I like Violet. She's sweet.
Quick plug, ladies and gentlemen. Go and listen to the Teletext Star podcast. I think it's the last but one episode when I interviewed Violet Berlin. Thank you.
There you go. Oh, was she nice? Was she nice to interview?
She was absolutely wonderful.
There you go. She's a lovely person. Yeah, I've spoken to her a few times through the years. So she was off doing her own thing.
I have to say, she's a lot smaller in real life, though.
She's tiny. Bless her. She's tiny. Like a giant against her. But yeah. Can you think of any famous? Larry, you've got like an encyclopedic mind of games.
I don't.
Remember?
I can't think of any for Gamesworld. Well, apart from me, obviously.
Apart from you.
Yeah.
Apart from you. You on the Aztec year, right? You did the Aztec year with me. I think I commentated on your show, right?
No, that was Dave Perry. I was so upset that you wasn't on that day. I was so, could you imagine? I can't imagine my disappointment seeing Dave Perry there. It's like every single. Yeah, my heart was stolen.
There you go. Day. Yours and mine. You know, I would.
Well, you didn't know me then. You didn't know me then.
Well, I know, but it would have been fun anyway. I tried to do as many days as I could. Obviously, I did, and yeah, I enjoyed doing the commentary stuff, and I think a lot of the crew enjoyed me doing that as well. I think it kind of worked out better.
Well, our paths crossed quite a few times, but sort of narrowly missing each other, aren't they? I mean, X League as well. You was on there quite a bit.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, listen, we're both involved in video games. And we're both involved in the TV side of it. So, you know.
But we've never done anything together. That's the most frustrating thing.
Well, come up with an idea, Lau. Come up with an idea.
How about
what we're talking about right
now? With games.
Top Gear with games. That's the biggest cliche in the book, my man. That's where I pitched that 10 years ago. Let's do Top Gear with games.
I know, it's Top Gear. It's the tennis, a video game show.
It's the easy answer, but you know what? In seriousness, some form of a magazine show featuring video games. I think that's probably the
I think
forward,
something more along the lines of fantasy football or something would work better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, watch this space. It's interesting. I'm still having some interesting conversations. I met with one of the largest TV production companies in the world fairly recently to have a very serious chat about something just like that. So you never know.
Nice. Oh, fingers crossed.
Very nice.
You never know.
Barry, I'm aware your time is running short, so I have one more question.
It's like, what is it, midnight?
That way. I didn't just imply that I'm just going to go around to Big Boy Barry's house and just knock his head off or something. Did I?
You did. Well,
you're staying welcome, Barry.
Oh, Jesus.
That's it, Barry. Get lost.
I love it.
Horrible.
Sorry, Alex. One last question before you leave the stream, not the world.
Yes.
So,
okay. Let's hope not.
Oh. Certainly not. No. But
this is the best Friday night of all time.
If you dare to answer this now. So what happened?
You ask me as many questions as you want. I don't mind the Q&A stuff. You got 18 people out there who are each on the edge of their seats.
Oh, it's actually 20 now.
20 now. There you go. Our audience is growing. Look at that.
It was 24 earlier.
Oh, they got bored.
So
let me just close some of these tabs. Sorry, guys.
So Barry, what happened in Bournemouth with you and the G-Lock 360 arcade machine while filming Barry's joypad?
Now, I'll tell you, but how do you know about that?
I won't say.
That's really good. That's good journalism right there. You've done your research. Did I ever talk about? Where the heck did you get that information from? That's amazing.
Well, it's Mr. Stephen Richards who asks that question.
Stephen Richards asked what happened with me and
blackmail.
You know what? There is.
Shifting the blame.
I've got a VHS cassette somewhere where really it's the most hilarious outtakes you will ever see. It was just so we would film features every week, and we went down to Bournemouth. What do we did down in Bournemouth? We met Dave Perry. So we did work with him because he was editing Gamesworld magazine. So I think we shot a feature down there that never got used, by the way. That was an interesting piece of gossip. That never got used.
It's not the one I uploaded, was it?
Yeah, that was the one you uploaded. Yeah, that never got used on TV, but you can find Larry uploaded the bootleg version.
But Larry stole it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know what this is now. I know what this is. Go on.
Many hours of this stuff, right? So the Sky censors would only get to see the episode of Gamesworld, like sometimes literally hours before they went on air. And every week we'd get a whole ration of shit. And it was always because of David Williams, who was just putting in just sexual innuendo after, and they're like, no, you got to cut that. No, you got to cut out. And sometimes we'd be recutting the show 20 odd minutes before it would go on air. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. It was ridiculous. And we shot a whole feature, which was a good feature. We shot a whole feature on Gamesworld, the magazine, and Sky that wouldn't let us show it because it was too much of an advert, they thought, and they didn't want us to go out with that. So that had to heavily get re-edited at the last moment.
Was it also something that it was a rival publication printing it because Sky are owned by Fox?
Yeah, by Murdoch, and it was a rival publication, and the official line certainly was that they saw it as too much of an advert. Now I think you'd get away with it today because look, it's Gamesworld, for the love of God, and this is the official Gamesworld magazine. I mean, it wasn't a particularly great. It's not like it was undercover journalism. It's not like it was Pulitzer Prize stuff, but it was a fairly light, fluffy feature looking at the Gamesworld, the magazine. What's wrong with that? But whatever.
Dave's the marketing manager. He's not a journalist.
They got that pull. I digress. So at the same time, we shot a feature at the Sega Park in Bournemouth. Right. This is again when arcades was still a thing. And so they had just got delivery of, I think they were the first in the UK, of G-Lock, which was like a sequel to Afterburner. It was a flight game. And I don't know if any of your listeners are familiar, but there was a super duper version, like the deluxe version was G-Lock 360. And so it was a pod. It was a big round pod that was hydraulic and motorized, and the idea is you would go in it and then you play the game and it would tilt you 360 degrees. So it was just nauseating, and I'm bad with heights anyway. I'm bad with roller coasters. Anything that goes upside down I'm bad with, and unless you were very good at the game, it would tip you upside down, it would tip you whatever. It was pretty hectic. And the day we went down, I was as sick as a dog. I had proper flu, and I was trying to be a pro and not let anybody down, and I was just feeling ill. So very unusual for me. I wasn't eating a thing, and I was green all day. And we saved this G-Lock thing to the end because I was dreading it. I was like, guys, I'm gonna hurl if I go on this. It's like, well, look, it's a big part of the feature. We need you on this thing. We've got to do it. We'll just do it for like a minute. We'll get you on. We'll do like 30 seconds of play, and then we'll get you off. And I'm like, I think I'm going to throw up, guys. So no, we've got to get you on. So I'm there, and I'm in full. Obviously, I'm in full dress and I'm in full character. So I had this big fur jacket on, like this big rapper's jacket. I looked like a huge, giant, fat panda. I had this black and white jacket on, and I had all the jewelry on, and I had I'm a big old boy, and I'm squeezing my ass into this fucking little pod, and they start it. And the first thing that happened, and I said, please, guys, let's get this over and done with quickly because I'm just not feeling good. So they start the thing, and the first thing that happens when the game starts, predictably, it goes upside down. That's the first thing that happens, and you've got to steady yourself with the joystick, right? So I get on it, they start it up, I go upside down, and then because I'm wearing this big fur jacket, it's the jacket was tipping out of the side of the thing, and it tripped the sensors. It has the safety sensors, and if anything trips the safety sensors, it thinks like there's a key trapped in the damn thing, and it cuts off. It stops. So it turns upside down. My jacket falls outside of the pod. It trips the sensors. Beep, 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 and the damn thing stops. So the damn thing freezes with me upside down. So I'm hanging upside down in this damn thing. And they can't reset it. The thing had just been delivered, and none of the staff at the Sega Park knew how to reset the thing. So you've suddenly got this team of engineers trying to reset the thing, and they couldn't do it. And I'm hanging upside down, like, guys, bring me a bucket. I'm gonna throw up. And I was green, and they couldn't reset this damn thing. And the fucking cameraman, and they're filming this thing, and the crew are in hysterics. So the crew are crying with laughter at the image of me trying to keep my shit together and not hurl everywhere as there's this large fat man dangling upside down in the G-Lock 360, and then just desperately trying to pry me out of it. And it was it was a bad day. It was a bad day, but kind of funny. And there was a VHS cassette that no one will ever get to see. I think I own the only copy that's got about 30 minutes of technicians trying to loosen me from this damn contraption, and the crew are in hysterics. doing impressions of Dennis Norden from All Right on the Night, and there you go.
His cock up.
It was, exactly. Yeah, what's happening here? It was. It's just that was a fun day of filming.
How much money do we have to donate before you upload that?
to the Big Boy Barry Charity Foundation.
Yes.
the Big Boy Barry Foundations for ex-video game TV stars.
Upside down contestants.
Yeah, for contestants. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. Maybe one day. Still too soon. It's been 20 years.
You've been framed to get 250 quid.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I think that's gone down to about 20 quid now.
Yeah, it probably has. Harry Hill doesn't pay well these days. Harry Hill does not pay well. Yeah. Yes, that was kind of funny. I enjoyed that one. That was a good day.
Did you enjoy working in the Harrow arcade for your other Barry's Joypad show? Because that was a rough.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that was... the Barry show. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Barry show. That was what was the name of that? The Edge.
The Edge.
Yeah. Yeah, that was again. That was the days when it's amazing when you think about it, right? That was the day when internet cafes were a thing. You remember that? So that was like an arcade stroke internet cafe because people didn't have the internet with bumper cars. Yeah.
Yes.
How weird that such a place existed. They let us film in there completely free because it was always empty. It was going downhill at the time. So
I can't have insurance there all the time and stuff like that. I remember.
Yeah. No, I did enjoy that. I enjoyed filming there because I lived literally 15 minutes away, so it was the easiest gig in the world for me. I would just roll out of bed and I'd be there in 15 minutes, drive myself there and back. So that was an easy one for me. We would film. It was a long day because we'd film because again that was for the computer channel, which was a channel that just started on Sky. And that was a show. I shot that with Donna Air. Donna Air was on that for a few months, and that was we'd film 5 nights worth of content in one day. So that would be a long day, but again, only around the corner, and it was a pretty easy gig for me.
That was good, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was written by a good friend, a person I became very friendly with, who was new to the Gamesworld family at that time. This guy called Richard Pitt, who was a really good. Yeah, he was a lovely, lovely guy, and I became very friendly with him. He was a very good writer, so he would write those shows with me, and he had a pretty good grip on the sort of Big Boy Barry character. And he's a lovely, lovely guy who's tragically not with us anymore. And
I think I seen a photo of me and him together on the set.
Yeah, he was a very slight guy. He was the absolute opposite of me. He was very thin and wiry, and but just a lovely chap, a really nice guy, and I miss that guy a lot. Yeah, he was a really, really good friend. Oh. It's a bit of a down.
No, it's quite sad. Yeah, he went on to work for Gamer TV as well, didn't he? For Bravo later on.
He did. He did. Yeah, he did. He was very, again, he was entrenched in that video gaming world. So he went on to, and that was with another guy called Jason Kilshaw, who I still remain good friends with. Jason Kilshaw produced the series of Gamesworld that you were on, Larry, and he was also, he played the videator Eddie Essex in that last season.
What's his name from EastEnders, wasn't it supposed to be?
Yeah, he looked a bit like Phil Mitchell. Phil Mitchell. Yeah. He was a Phil Mitchell ripoff. So
he was really good. He was a great character.
He was good. Oh, he was great. He was good. I think by the final season of Gamesworld, they were running out of stereotypes. They had already had a black rapper, a cowboy,
the entire village people.
Mitchell. Yeah, exactly. Here's Phil Mitchell. So he went off. So that was a guy called Jason Kilshaw, and him and Richard Pitt went off to Gamer TV for a few years. And that's no longer with us anymore.
He did get to work with the wonderful Steve Wilcox in the end.
Yes.
Steve Trustworthy Wilcox.
It's a good nickname. I like it. Them's were the days, Larry.
Yes.
So, Alex, may I take us right back to the beginning of the show when you said that you first saw a call out for contestants for Games Master on Teletext. Were you a fan of Teletext? Were you a fan of Teletext back then?
I was. What was the page called? Was it Biffo?
Digitizer.
Digitizer.
Oh, you're a Digitizer fan.
Of course, I'm a Digitizer
Crikey.
fan. I've got nuts that channel. It's great. Loved it.
Do you know Mr. Biffo at all?
I think he's actually on my email database these days, but I can't pretend to know him very, very well. But
he lives down the road. He lives down the road from us as well. He's
got a YouTube thing, hasn't he? Hasn't he got a YouTube channel?
Digitizer 2000.
Yeah, I think he's on my database actually. I think
he lives down the road as well, so he's quite.
Does he? Oh,
yeah,
I did not know that.
He's in Harrow.
There you go. It's a smaller. Harrow's the place to be, right?
Yeah,
obviously,
it's the gaming hub of the world.
It's the gaming hub of London. I love it.
Crikey!
It was where Big Boy Barry filmed and where Honey G comes from. So look at that. That's
Honey what?
Exactly. Honey G. You got to watch X Factor, man.
No. I only watch Gamesworld, you see.
There you go. Quite right too.
Did you
have the same shows over and over?
Actually, one question, because we watched it over Christmas. Did you have any involvement with the German version of Gamesworld?
That's a good question. You need to upload that stuff, right? I've got it.
Somebody's got. We saw some episodes. We saw the version of you on there.
Barry, I think it was called. I really did. It was like Barry.
What was his name? The big bad boy or something?
Oh, Barry. That was the character's name. Like Barry. I'm sure it was. We got to give some context on that. We got to give. So they did. So
he's called Fat Barry.
Was it? Yeah, Fat Barry.
Gross means fat. Yeah, so he's called Fat
Barry. Fat Barry.
They went back to the original choice of Fat Boy for the German version.
Yeah, exactly. They found that unused material and decided to
take him over to Germany.
Off you go.
Good luck.
So this again, the show was pretty big. So they sold it. Yeah. So Hewland was a production company, and like any good production company, it's always looking for another meal ticket, right? And I think they were shopping. They would shop the show around a lot. They would shop formats around a lot. Of course, with the production company, you'd always have different executives come down and watch filming, and you didn't really know who anyone was. It was always be like, "Who's that guy? Who's it?" And they sold the format to a German production company. And in fact, so that one of the producers, another lovely guy, a guy called Peter Scott, who was on. He was one of the reviewers on BTV. Sado, I think he used to put. Was it Sado? He was the guy with the Scottish accent, whatever. And he wrote a lot of the shows for me as well. He's a really nice guy. He owns a company called Impossible TV. I don't even know if that's still going, but that's. What
I know that. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. He's a good guy. He went off to work on Planet 24, which is another production company that doesn't exist now as well.
They did the Big Breakfast, didn't they?
They did the Big Breakfast. Yeah, he worked on that. So anyway, so Peter Scott went to go over to Germany. He spent a good few weeks in Germany as a kind of consultant for their version, and he just said it was utterly nuts. He's like, it was very, very different, and but at the same time very similar. And their version of Big Boy Barry, they went with like a Hell's Angel thing, if I recall. It was like a big Hell's Angel biker kind of guy. And I think that was the only version that I think that was the only videator that they kept. Everything else was sort of their own thing. Yeah.
One of them was an American football player that they painted silver, and I never got that. Yeah.
It's like, you remember more than me. You've got to upload an episode.
We only watched it a couple of months ago, so it's sort of. And the presenter had a hilarious name as well, didn't you? Translated it, Harry.
Yes.
Is it like
I can't remember what it was.
Notability or something?
Wow. Well, I only saw it once. I remember seeing it once, and it was like, this is just too weird. So, but in short, no, I had nothing to do with it. I was never really consulted, or I had nothing to do with it. But just Peter did, and would give me the odd story and anecdote from how crazy it was working over there on the show. I don't know if it did well. I think it only went one season, and then disappeared into the ether. They need to bring it up over. They need to bring it back in America, right? And I could go off and do the American spin-off.
Well,
like Crichton from Red Dwarf. Yeah, the only guy that stuck around for the.
And they thought he was Canadian. They thought he was Canadian. Doing an impression of it. They thought he was supposed to be a Canadian robot.
That's right. So. I remember reading that. Yeah. Bloody hell.
Right. So the German Wikipedia says, World Games was a video game show on Set 1. It was chaired by Robbie Robb and Norman Nobility Hutt.
Wow. It's a name you can't forget.
Something's certainly lost in translation there.
Ah.
I think one of the guys, the gimmick was that they jumped on a trampoline or something. They always entered the show on a trampoline. It was crazy.
Did they play the
There you
games
go.
like on a trampoline?
No, that would have been a great idea for a
That
show.
would have been.
Yeah, but not for me. That would have caused a lot of issues.
Seen a lot of your previous meals as well.
Yeah. Oh dear. So yeah, all right. Well, we've got to find an episode, Larry. Get it out on YouTube. I'd like to watch it.
Well, weird ones. We just watched it on YouTube anyway. Somebody's uploaded some.
Oh, go
in
and
the past.
have a look.
That's what we got.
That's what I'm doing right after this.
Somebody's put up the grand final. Yeah.
There's actually quite a lot of British Games World episodes now on YouTube. There's a couple of guys out there who are.
There is. I'm always intrigued by that. I've been intrigued by that because it's got nothing to do with me, but I'm intrigued. Like, time to do it. That's
one of the
people.
I'm sorry. I say one of the people who actually uploads all these old episodes is a guy. Is Matthew? Botchamania guy. I don't know if you know him.
I don't think I do, but that's interesting.
He does a You Being Framed of wrestling clips. Wrestlers falling out, and he's mega famous and stuff like that as well.
So I still have actually, like, behind me, I've got like 500. I got 500 VHS cassettes. I have them all on VHS. I did catalog like everything. I got the entire series, and I'm working my way through. It's only taken me about a decade so far.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this on the Dave Perry's forum 10 years ago.
That's right. I've done all of the important stuff, i.e. my stuff. So I've got all the Barry's Joypads and all the Barry TV are now like on DVD, and they in terms of picture quality, they've held up pretty well. But a lot of the other stuff is turning brittle. But yeah, I got a lot of that stuff, and I actually supplied footage to Channel 5 that did like a documentary on David Walliams and Matt Lucas, because they featured in that first series, the Madame Pixel's Peep Parlor, and I provided footage to Channel 5 of those guys appearing together, because Sky had lost it. Sky have lost most of those cassettes.
Whoa.
I can't find them now. So yeah, I actually provided footage to those guys, which got used on air.
Nice.
Interesting.
My geek bone is going to explode in a minute.
There's someone in the comments called Kimbley who says she was on Games World Series 2 and she got through to the third round.
Hi, Kimberly. Well, that's a shame that she. And that was. Did she have anything further to say?
She says it was interesting and it was filmed in a disused school building.
Was it a school? There you go. My memory is probably failing, but it was in
old.
the middle of nowhere. That's for sure. Getting old.
Yeah, getting old. Remember my days.
It was right in the middle of bloody nowhere. That's all I remember. Just long days.
Once they took the hood off your head, you're already inside, so you probably wouldn't have been able to tell.
Yeah, go figure. Go figure. And it'd be cold waiting backstage to come on with, because they'd usher you down like to get ready, and then they had all the smoke machines going and stuff before you came out. And they had to hide you from the audience, so you had to sort of wait outside, and it was always freezing as you were waiting to go on.
So if you don't die from the cold, the carbon monoxide from the dry ice will get you.
That's exactly it.
So they're trying to kill you one way or another.
Really, that stuff would always take you down, no doubt.
So Barry, what was your favourite moment in the whole of Games World?
My favourite moment in the whole of Games World? That's a question I've never been asked before. That is a question I've never been asked. It's hard to tell. It really is, because Jesus, it's very cliched, but they were the best days. They were the best days of my professional career, I think. I had so much fun. It was just such a riot. And the other stuff that I've done might have been more high caliber. Some of the ITV stuff or whatever, but it was never as much fun as Gamesworld. You know, I got to meet Muhammad Ali. I did a feature with Muhammad Ali, for the love of God. There's me and Muhammad Ali on TV. I had to do a feature with Mr. Blobby, for the love of God. You know, it's like, how varied would that be? 1 minute you're meeting Muhammad Ali, then we did stuff with Hulk Hogan and the England football team, and I got to meet. I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I got to meet all the Star Trek guys at the Star Trek Generations premiere. We did a feature with those guys, which was nuts. So we had so much fun, but you know, getting to work with David was great fun, and it's hard to single out any particular moment. It really is. But there were plenty of sort of out of body experiences where you just can't really believe that this shit is happening to a 15-year-old kid. It was kind of nuts. And I go back and watch some of the stuff now. Like I completely forget that I've done half of this stuff, and it's just nuts. You know, really crazy stuff.
What are you doing now?
It's hard to actually pinpoint any particular what was your best moment, but you know, there was some crazy stuff, you know. And I think the Beat the Elite stuff, even though that wasn't my own show, but the finals of Beat the Elite, you know, they'd always, the finals of the Gamesworld with Bob Mills, they'd always push the boat out a little bit more, right? Because that was the one that was broadcast on a Sunday afternoon. So they, you know, spend a little more time on it. They got twice the audience members in. They really went to town with extras and gimmicks and fireworks, and you know, that was kind of crazy filming those finals, because it was the closest I think I'll ever get to experiencing the WWE phenomena, right? It's pretty amazing. And then you got, you know, a couple of hundred people in the audience chanting your name. It was a pretty big thrill.
Like the ending of The Wizard.
It was just like that.
Yeah.
It was with no power glove, but it was just like that. It was it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Barry, I'm being told to ask about Big Boy Benny. Is he a myth, or was he real? Big Boy Benny.
Isn't that your gimmick, Larry? Isn't that something to do with you?
I've heard this story. It wasn't me though. I did sort of heard rumors they wanted to have an evil version of you.
You know, the person writing that question has got to elaborate, because I don't know. Okay. I've heard Big Boy Ben. I've heard that name a couple of times, but it's nothing that was official. It's nothing that we came up with.
No.
No. It's interesting. So I think for the Barry's Joypad and the BTV stuff, when they were working, you know, we had scripts, and you know, they would try to work like 6 weeks in advance and try to get scripts to me a couple of weeks in advance so that we could block through lines. And there were a lot of concepts that never got off the ground, and there were a lot of scripts that actually got written, but they just scrapped at the last minute for whatever reason, for budgetary reasons, or if they just weren't working. And one of them, yeah, they've gone for the evil Barry on a couple of occasions. I was supposed to be in drag one week. How's about that? I was supposed to be playing an evil, like a evil host of a cookery show that was trying to take over BTV, and that would have featured me in drag, and that would have been kind of fun. And that one never got made, but there was some evil big boy stuff a couple of times. I was supposed to shoot that, and that never happened. Closest we ever got was an episode with me and Mr. Mathers, the Megabyte Millionaire, where he was using some sort of device to was me, and I got to play an evil version of me doing split screen stuff, which was kind of fun. I enjoyed that.
Okay, so we've got some clarification on Big Boy Benny. It says, and I think this is something that's copied and pasted from Wikipedia. Somebody could be poop stirring.
Oh, it must be true then if it was on Wikipedia.
Yeah. So apparently, it says,
sometimes I don't know where they get this stuff from. Go.
The backside, probably. But apparently, another aborted plan for Series 4 of Gamesworld involved a videator named Big Boy Benny, to be promoted as either a dark side, alter ego to Barry, or a hapless comic fool, parodying a popular angle from the wrestling world. And I, too, have read that in the dim and distant past. I think it was on Wikipedia, but it's now been removed because there are no citations.
You know, I'd like to think I'm a foremost expert on Gamesworld. I got a pretty good memory for that stuff. It never came from me, and if that's true, then it's the first I've heard of it. And I'm still very good friends with a lot of the writers, Rick Henderson and Peter Scott, and a lot of the guys that would sort of take over the creation of the Videator characters in later years. And it was never really discussed, not as far as I know. I think somebody's run wild with that, and away you go.
Was there ever plans for a good version of Dave Perry as well?
Now, come on.
Naughty.
No, I
never had an issue with Dave
No, he's
Perry.
a lovely bloke. No, he's
a nice guy. I follow him on Facebook, for the love of God. He was misunderstood, I think, and there was a guy that, again, I think he probably had a love of WWE. He lived his character, let's put it like that. So there was a guy that was so utterly invested in the game's animal that he'd live it, and that was kind of charming in a strange sort of a way. But some people would read that the wrong way, and obviously him and Dom, as we know, had a hilarious relationship. But I gotta tell you, I've never really had an issue with Dave.
No, I've never.
I think he wanted to do more on the show. And they kind of pushed back on that, I think, for whatever reason.
I think that's why he felt Gamesworld was more his baby in the end, really, than Games Master.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about Gamesworld. Like, even on Gamesworld, I think he had aspirations to present it. I think he wanted to do more and be a bigger part of that show, and I think that frustrated him that they kind of resisted that for whatever reason, and and I think he found that hard in that last series as well. Yeah, but I never had an issue with him. Nice enough guy, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's lovely, but he does a tattoo artist now, and he's quite good.
He is. He's a big tattoo artist. Very good at what he does.
Last time I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. He got rid of all of his old Games Master material. Like, he sold his Games Master golden joystick to this guy, like a collector, and then he went and put it all on eBay. This bloke, and he was fucking fuming about it.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Wow, well, that gives me a good idea. What do you think my golden joystick's worth, Lau?
£310.
Really?
That's oddly specific.
That's how much I paid for mine. So
I'm looking at it right now. It's still in pretty good nick.
I was tempted to get my one autographed by Violet Berlin as well.
That would have been bizarre.
Yeah, just for a laugh.
That would be bizarre. Oh man, I was at a Star Trek convention with a buddy recently, and he met George Takei. And he got him to write "May the Force be with you." I always found that pretty amusing. That was kind of funny. I'm
That's some sort of
guys. What's the time?
Sorry, what?
What's
10 to 11.
Oh, it's 10 to 11. Yeah.
Moses.
So before you leave, Alex, do you have anything to plug? Do you have anything to plug? Because I think we owe you a plug at the very least.
Do I have?
I think we owe an apology. Really, as well.
Yeah.
No, it's been fun. It's been lots of fun. We'll do it again sometime. It's been a long day. So do I have anything to plug? I don't think I've got anything to plug, guys. I haven't got any sort of TV stuff. So for those who don't know, you can check out me as an actor at Red Canyon. That's my that's my agency still. So Red Canyon Associates. If anyone wants to get in touch, you can get in touch with me through my agent, Darling. And I do PR. So I'm still in the video game field, and I have my own PR agency. And what do you call a PR agency? It's Big Boy PR. So you can go check out bigboypr.com.
Can you say any?
If you want to get in touch with me that way.
Any projects you're working on at the moment? Any gaming projects?
Yeah, so I've been working with Endemol, and I was working with Endemol, and they have a YouTube channel which you guys might know called Legends of Gaming. So and they just did a live version of that at Ali Pali in September, Legends of Gaming Live. So I was helping them with that. I was doing some presenting for them up on stage, and I was doing some PR for those guys. So that's kind of interesting. And I also work with Replay Events, who do the Play Expo. So those guys are great guys. and I was doing the PR for those guys as well. So they're great. They've got another event coming up in February, and looks like I'll be continuing to work with those guys. I work with a few big gaming guys in the industry, a company called Bespoke Arcades. Go check those guys out. They're amazing. They make custom arcade machines. A company called Lucid Sound that do great gaming headsets. A company called Snakebite. These are all clients of mine. So I'm still pretty busy in the video gaming world these days.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, Alex, if I said that I could get you, I, and Mr. Biffo on a podcast, would you say yes?
I would absolutely say yes. I'd be thrilled to come back. I genuinely would. It's been a lot of fun. So let's do it again.
Let's do it. Steve, we've got to organise this for whenever. Alex, thank you very much for tonight. And Barry, do you have anything to say in closing? Mr. Big Boy Barry.
I'd like to say it's been a red hot, tip top, non-stop, one-stop shop roller coaster ride of fun. Thank you for having on the Tubby Type, the Tea Time Telly, the Broad Buccaneer of Brilliant Broadcasting, the Portly Prince of Primetime Perfection, the Madman Mountain, the Round Sound Lovable Mound, the Gainley Gaming Guru, the one, the only, red hot, tip top, non-stop, one-stop shop, Big Boy Barry. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Why did we wait? Why did we wait an hour and 45 minutes to ask you to do a Barry impression?
No idea. But there are more. I'm just very tired.
Okay. Well, Alex, we'll allow you to go to bed. It is a Friday night. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for all the years and years of entertainment.
Let's bring it back, guys. Let's start the cause now. If Donald Trump can get in as president, we can bring Big Boy Barry back on the air. You and me, Larry.
I don't do it. Yes. Probably left the racism part though.
We can.
We'll build a rule around PC owners.
Oh, he's wonderful. Big Boy Barry, everybody. That was absolutely wonderful, wasn't it? And what a surprise. What a surprise. I never thought we'd get Big Boy Barry on this show. It's a personal...
No, it's lovely, bloke.
Brilliant.
It's a fulfillment of a personal goal of mine since I've been about 3 years old, to speak to Big Boy Barry. Not only that, but to have him on the Retro Unlim live stream. Isn't that amazing?
It is. It's like all your Christmases come true at once.
Yes. Am I the only one, though? Am I the only one who's interested in Gamesworld?
I didn't know what Gamesworld was until about a week ago when Stephen mentioned it, and I had to look on YouTube this week, and I was watching you, Larry, on
Oh, that's...
yeah. That was kind of my first one I'd ever watched.
Oh.
Yeah, so I kind of knew to it all.
So
the show you was in, Larry, with Violet Berlin. That I genuinely remember that episode as a kid.
Oh,
which one was that?
Look at a fat kid with a mullet.
I remember. I don't know what it was. Because I remember watching it back and thinking, yeah, I remember that. Like fully that episode.
Oh, which one was it? Was it the 3D one or the one playing football?
The one. Oh, I think it's the. No, I don't remember. Maybe the 3D one, I think. Okay. So I've forgotten it now. I've remembered it all this time, and I've forgotten it in the last year. So.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to look at what you were playing.
Oh,
I got cut off.
Oh, I promise you, we didn't cut you off.
I promise you guys, I didn't cut you guys off either. So I have I was calling on my phone, and it literally just crapped out on me. So sorry about that, guys.
It was absolutely perfect. You exited then as well.
Yeah.
I ruined it.
Well, now I'm going to do it for real. I've had my encore, and now I'm going to do it for real and say good night to you guys.
Goodbye.
Catch you later.
Cheers, Alex.
See you, Big Boy.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Big is best.
Big is best.
Wait, Alex, before you leave, can you just say, hi, I'm Big Boy Barry, and you're listening to Retro Unlim Live.
Hi, everybody, I'm TV's Big Boy Barry, and when I'm on the internet, I'm always listening to Retro Unlim Live.
Thank you very much. I can die a happy man now.
Well, don't do that, please. You've got to get me on air again with Biffo before we do that.
Yes, I will certainly do that. I'm
Take care,
currently
guys.
working on it.
Have
Catch
a great
you later,
weekend.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
Bye.
You the man, Barry. You the man. You better than all them other videators. For sure. I don't know who that was.
Apart from Letty Edwards. We'll have to get Letty Edwards on the show one day. You know.
What about Auntie Marisha?
Oh, no. Oh, I think it's the same woman, isn't it?
Oh, is she? Can't leave her out. No, they're different because I remember the Gamesworld episode, or a Games Master episode, where they played off against each other. And in fact, weren't they both Gamesworld videators?
The tea lady was Letty Edwards.
Yeah, one of them was.
Well, they kept using that name on different things, even though it was different women, I believe.
It was a cool character, though. Auntie Marisha was cool.
I think it's quite good to have other people just from sort of young men all the time. Cis white men playing video games.
What do you mean cis? You mean like sister?
Yes, that's close enough, yeah.
That's exactly what he meant.
So is cis like digitize as Huss? Or I cuss you bad? No, nobody knows what I'm talking about now. Sorry, I'm bringing all the teletext stuff into this.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Well, I'm just it's getting awkward, that's why.
Well, what's new in Retro Unlim Live?
Yeah.
And that is a promise. That is a promise, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get Alex Verrey, a.k.a. Big Boy Barry, back for the Teletext Star podcast or this live stream at some point, and we'll have Biffo on. I'm sure he'll say yes, because he always says yes when I ask him.
Oh, yeah, the lovely bloke is, Paul.
Were you on that episode when he was on, Larry? You were on for 5 minutes, I think. Were you on the episode that Biffo was on?
I was on it for 5 minutes, but he's actually come over my house a couple of times.
Well, just unexpectedly. Hello, Larry. I'm here to share some nice sugar with you, sir. Here, shove it in your face.
No, he's come over a couple of times because we want to do some sort of thing together or something. We done basically all the I got a load of Loot Crate boxes sent for the post, and I just can't be asked to unbox them because like loads of people just unsub if you try and do a video. So I just gave them all to him and said, "You do it, you unbox them all," because I'm just going to lose loads of subscribers otherwise. So we done it. We just spent half an hour taking the piss out of pop vinyls and shit T-shirts like Zelda mixed with Star Wars. And shit
nice.
Those sort of. You always do that, don't know those T-shirts. You know,
I love it.
Yeah, Mario Brothers mixed with Anne Frank and shit like that. You know, it's completely random shit mixed together. And it's like, oh. And you're gonna get an air freshener as well and stuff like that. And yeah, we're taking. Yeah. Basically, I just go.
I've still got my air freshener in my Loot Crate box in the attic.
Well, you've got a lovely fragrant attic, haven't you? Sir?
I have. I've got a lovely fragrant loot box.
That sounds like a euphemism.
Guys, we have a new entrant to the call. Hello, sir. Kev, Retro Game Crusader. Long time no see.
All right, can you hear us anyway?
Yes, I think you have the same glasses as I do.
Probably. Black.
Very similar.
You're alive, Kev.
I am.
Bloody hell.
All right.
All right.
What a nice way to introduce.
What, did you think he died?
I haven't spoken to him for ages.
Hey, look at that. He's got his cat as well. We should have a cat off.
We should. Where's he gone? I don't know where he's gone.
Oh, we could have had which cat is cuter. People in the comments, vote now.
Let's have a look at yours, Kev.
Oh, there's two!
Oh, he's got two. That's not fair.
Epus, come on. Come on.
Larry, have you got an Xbox Elite controller?
No. Apparently they keep breaking or something, I heard.
Oh, fucking
not very well made. Have you bought one?
There we go.
No, I had to buy a new Xbox One because my one was on its arse and the controller didn't work, so I bought the Elite one that come with the controller.
Oh, so you got the old one, the old model again.
Kev, can we have a quick look?
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't got the S, yeah.
I was just going to say, Kev, can we have a closer look at your cat's nose there?
Sure. I ran off.
Oh, never mind. I was just going to say, have you ever seen a website called catsthatlooklikehitler.com?
No, that's horrible.
I promise you,
yeah, I've seen that.
There is a website. Yes.
It's my homepage
for this.
Have you seen that website, Ceiling Cat?
No.
Well, I advise you all to go there after this stream.
I don't.
Do you remember a website from the early days of the internet called Cat Scan?
No.
Oh, no.
All it is, the whole website's dedicated to pictures of someone, people sticking their cat in a scanner. And you see these things just press up against the glass, sort of trying to move.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that site.
Oh, we have to congratulate somebody. Actually, 2 people in the stream, I'm being told. Well, first of all, Kev, congratulations on your recent marriage.
Thank you very much.
Hey, well done.
Congratulations.
Nice one.
How is married life?
Thank you. Actually, a bit different. Weirdly enough, in a week.
Oh. How much different?
Yeah.
You've got to pay taxes now.
Already do. Feel a bit more united between us.
That's nice.
That's very heartwarming to hear. We usually have lots of sarcasm on this podcast, but it's actually good to hear something that's genuinely heartwarming. So excellent. And congratulations again.
Yeah.
We've got another congratulation in order here, and this is to Pete on a retro tip, who is apparently the YouTuber of the month. Is this right?
Certainly is.
Ah.
Well done.
Against all odds.
By Pete,
Congratulations,
by Phil
bro.
Collins. So what do you win for this?
You don't win anything.
What about the respect?
It's just, recognition from your peers, I guess.
Yes. What about that mop in the background? Didn't you win that?
I did actually, but I'm saving that for my next pickup video, so don't ruin it.
Well, we're just happy that you managed to knock out Novabug for another month.
Thanks,
That
mate.
matters.
Thanks.
Well, literally knock him out. Like I'm going to go and knock
That's
out
what
Big
happens.
Mario.
Every winner just gets to beat up. Every winner just gets to beat up Novabug. That's why I
That's
left.
it. That's the prize.
That's what the mop's for. He's going to take it off and sharpen it.
Yeah, I'm going to do some Jackie Chan shit with that.
Oh dear.
Oh, Bruce Lee.
I was remembering earlier this week how I trolled Novabug on Retro Master Mindless by just stopping answering the questions midway through one of the rounds, taking off my headset. Oh, speak of the devil, who's here? Guess who's here? Hey,
all right, lad.
Hey, man, who's
Oh,
this?
shit.
I don't know
That's
who this
Captain
guy
Bug. That ain't Novabug.
That's not Novabug.
That's Captain Bug.
He's been
Who are these
hijacked.
people? Who are these people? Who? What's going on here? I'm not sure about what's going on. Tell me what's going on.
Who the hell is this guy?
It doesn't look like Captain Bug because there's no tapes behind him.
I assure you, I am Captain Bug. I've got my scotch here. It's actually, I'm not Scotch. It's not, what am I talking about? It's finely brewed North Carolina bourbon.
AKA apple juice.
Captain Bug.
Coca-Cola.
Coke. Captain Bug.
No, not at all. That is Diet Coca-Cola, actually.
Oh, good man.
Yeah.
So Captain Captain Bug.
Maps.
You crazed madman. Captain Bug.
What?
I suppose. Do you actually know Novabug? AKA Chris.
It's some twat. I don't know. I just kicked him out of the door in the rain. I don't know. He said he was going to live stream. So well, fuck you, Novabug. My turn to have a shine light. Yes, because his light shines out of his ass. Yes.
Well, Boogie Boy, please pass on my apologies for that time I trolled him on Retro Master Mindless by taking off my headset.
Like I couldn't give a fuck. I'm very happy about that. I approve, in fact. How's everyone anyway?
A bit flabbergasted.
Tell us about that time. Okay, then.
It's like you're surprised to see me. I don't know what's going on. I was thought to be congratulated. Oh, Captain Bug's here. Fantastic. I love the Captain Bug because everyone seems to really like my bullshit. So, we
love your bullshit, Captain.
I'm sorry.
Captain.
I didn't know I congratulate you, sir. You got married. So well done for the ball and chain. Well done.
Oh, it's so good. I even got some jewelry.
Good. Excellent. Yes, I will not be stealing that off you anytime soon, of course.
You robbing bastard.
Because I don't do that kind of shit. You seem to be going very, very quiet now. What's going on? Come on, you were chatting away a minute ago, waffling, and now you seem to have gone stunned or something.
I'm still playing.
This is surreal as fuck, so I'm like...
You tell me, what the hell is going on here?
A minute ago, I was talking about you, actually. Mr. Peter, you are familiar with you because I recorded a video about you earlier. Some Novabugs talked about some person who won the YouTube of the Month thing, which I don't really give two shits about, but he gets me doing it, and he pays me well as well. So, and he said, oh, this Honor Retro Tip person thingy won the YouTube of the Month, so I had to read out this list, and, you know, I was, yeah, well, okay, these guys look fine, but they're not going to trump me. Ha, political thing there.
Oh, very good, very good. So, Captain Buggeroff, I've been told to call. Sorry, yes. So, Captain Bug.
It wouldn't be a surprise. I've been told that numerous times before.
Captain Bug, listen. Tell me about the time you went on Gamesworld as a videator.
I'm afraid I didn't get past the audition. No, I was too drunk at the time as well. So, I don't know. Barry was rather nice to me, actually. He did give me a bottle of vodka to pass the time away and consolidate my feelings, but I kind of gave that one up. You know, it was on a dead end. I really shouldn't have been grabbing people by certain anatomy parts, but you know, what can you do?
What can you do, indeed? That's what I'm asking right now of this situation.
You should have continued, man.
And what is that kind of accent? That doesn't sound like a Newcastle accent at all. Kind of mutated, if you ask me. But then again, I thought Geordie accents were always mutated in my day. So.
How?
Lovely beard, by the way. Oh, I envy that. I can't grow beard, you see.
Oh, okay.
It's the poison from all the years of playing retro games. Lots of radioactive poison.
What was that, sorry?
Take me about 45 years to grow a beard like that.
It's getting it longer, that's the problem.
So anyone here got a NES Mini?
Nah.
What? I
can't find them anywhere.
No, just a Mini, I'm afraid.
Have you got one?
Just
no,
one.
Got one. There's like fucking point in getting one.
Who's got one?
Oh, okay.
No.
Nobody's got one. You can't bloody find them anywhere.
Would you buy one if you could?
Probably Nintendo Direct.
No, out of stock there. I've already looked there. They're absolutely sold out everywhere.
I can see the point of it for people who aren't like into retro games and don't play it. Like I can see it for people who see it and the wife goes, "Oh look, there's this NES Mini," and the guy's like, "Oh, I remember the NES," and then she buys him one for Christmas. But
yeah,
for people like, yeah, I remember the NES.
I remember the NES.
For people who are like us. Yeah, for people like us who are like, yeah, I remember the NES. I was playing one last night. Of course, I fucking remember it. I don't see the point in buying one. But, you know, whatever. If people want to buy one, it's not for me.
Mini. It's over and over again for your Wii and 3DS, but on another console.
Yeah.
What does the wife know anyway?
Yeah.
You know what Nintendo are like? They always stock about 5 units of everything.
Yeah.
I reckon I've bought the original Mario Brothers more than any other game. And it ain't that good. No, it's all right.
Really? How many copies of Mario Brothers do you have then?
Well, I had it on the original NES. Like when I got into retro collecting and I bought that, I had it on the Wii. I had it on the Wii U. I've got it on the 3DS. It's just like...
Yeah,
I had it on the game. I had it. There was on the SNES. There was a Game Boy Advance one on some compilation thing. It's like I don't know how many more times I could ever want that fucking game.
Well, Mr. Slope, I will actually direct you to the point that some homebrews are actually making a Mario version on the Amstrad CPC.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yes. I couldn't believe it myself. What a fucking pile of shit that's going to be. I don't know what the hell they're bothering, really.
Yeah, it's going to certainly be better than Minecraft on the CPC.
Well, I was impressed recently by Pinball Dreams on the Amstrad. Yes, the Batman group did that. Rather impressive. Yes, you could have thought it was Amiga if you were on drugs, of course.
I
Did I throw Mr. Slope? Mr. Slope, did I slow you down there? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh dear.
Please continue.
Well, at least it won't be better than Roland on the rope. So
No. Nothing's better than Roland. I love a bit of Roland. Roland's lovely. Roland's great on my ropes.
Yes.
Guys.
Roland's been in my caves and on my rope.
Has he been in your space as well? And has he been bashing your squares?
Yes, yeah, I've done a bit of square bashing with Roland, indeed. Yes. When we were on the run, it wasn't great. I mean, we kept jumping the train, but, you know.
I found him in the Amstrad building. Boom! I've done the last one.
Yes, I found him in the basement, actually, schooling around the remnants of the Spectrum, guys.
Ahoy there!
I believe Longboy is here. Hello.
How are you?
I'm quite well.
Dave, why does your name come up as George?
Oh, that's because I'm on someone else's computer.
Ah. I know who that someone else is as well.
How do you know that?
So he doesn't know I'm on his computer.
Clearly, it's Zippy's brother, George, from Rainbow, isn't it?
What are they brothers?
I don't know.
God, someone's dad was spreading it around.
Oh, this is getting insane. But would you like it to go even more insane? Would you like to play?
Yes.
Would you like to play a game right now, guys?
Oh yes.
Play a game of Retrotash. Yes, it has returned. Retrotash. It has returned from the depths. It is back after about 4 or 5 months in the wilderness, but it is here now.
Well, yeah, but
once
to
again.
be true, it wasn't Retrotash's fault, was it? Because we weren't here for 4 or 5 months.
Well, yeah, that is. But let's just push that to the side of the road quickly. Because
I do like a tasteful quiz. I do. Yes, please continue. I'd like to see lots of tashes in this time.
yes, there's nothing like a tasteful quiz, and this is nothing like a tasteful quiz. So let's kick off with this one. Whose moustache could that be?
I've got a moustache.
No boy.
Gosh, it looks like a shaved circular something or other. I can't really mention.
I can't even see it. Where is said Tash gone? There it is.
Is this just? Like? Is there a theme, or is it just any random person?
Well, I can give you a clue. I can give you a clue. This person is fairly well known on YouTube.
Long boy.
That doesn't really narrow it down, does it? Let's be fair.
It's going to be yours.
It's going to be one of the many lawn boys that exist.
Isn't that the Swedish fellow, PewDiePie?
That's a good guess, but not quite right, no, unfortunately.
Jacksepticeye?
Shocking.
Who's that?
No, then.
Well, do you want another clue?
Go on, then.
Is he?
Retro and Limb.
Oh.
Right now.
None of us are able to grow facial hair.
In this live stream. He's here in this live stream.
Fuck.
Is it me?
No. Good
Nova.
guess.
Is it
Captain Nova.
It's Larry.
It's not me.
It is indeed
I never had a moustache.
Captain Larry Bundy Jr. And here is the picture to prove it.
Yeah, it's the one in his garden.
How the fuck did I not recognise
Oh, no,
myself?
That's amazing to recognise yourself.
That's genius. I'm very impressed, but I don't think Larry is.
Yeah, so I smashed all the mirrors in the house out of anger.
Ah, right.
Just by looking at him.
Yeah.
Rocking the flock of seagulls haircut there is fantastic to see.
And I ran so far
away. So, next one.
Couldn't get away.
The next mustache is here.
Is it Magnum
It's a
PI?
slug that died on top of someone's lip.
It's correct.
What?
No, it's not. It's not correct. I lied.
It's not Peter Sellers.
So is this
It's
another
a
retro
slug on Bulldogs
YouTuber?
No, this is a film star.
If you look at it like carefully, his nostril looks like
Reynolds.
it's an eye, and it looks like they've done that thing from Red Dwarf, and it's his chin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I am
It's Greta.
Crocodile.
Bindi Badgie.
It's Dave Lister.
Is he a Venduvian?
Is it the Anchorman?
No.
Fucking hell.
Or was it the Wanker Man? I can't remember that.
Is it an 80s footballer?
Is it
No,
Burt Reynolds?
unfortunately. No. Sadly not.
No, there's no cocaine on it. There can't be an 80s footballer.
So it's not Tom Selleck.
Is it Burt Reynolds?
No, unfortunately. Oh, if you keep saying it, Larry, it'll probably be right in a minute.
Yeah. It's an oversized hat.
I wasn't me. That was somebody's
Is
camera.
it Burt Reynolds?
All right. There was an echo. Okay.
Is it the bandit?
You recognise yourself saying no.
It is Sneaker Freak. Do you know whose mustache this could be?
It's not Ron Burgundy's, is it?
Oh, no. Somebody just guessed that.
Is it Burt Reynolds?
Rush.
Can we have a clue?
That's right. It's Burt Reynolds. That's correct.
You're
Can I have a
joking.
pee, please, Bob?
You better be
Yes,
joking.
I am joking because it's him.
Oh, what?
So what are we guessing the character now, not the actor? I'm confused.
Well, I think if you got
Good
evil
movie,
Bob-
though, by the way, random fact.
Well, basically just keep saying,
Character.
just keep saying Burt Reynolds until he gives you the answer. Really.
Yeah, till you
Works
break
for
it.
me.
So the correct answer to that was indeed Larry Bundy Jr. But here's the next one.
I didn't recognise was.
Rolf Harris.
Oh,
Oh,
my
name, almost. His name rhymes with Rolf.
Dolph Lundgren.
Brian Blessed.
Dolph. Dolph Ziggler.
Yes!
Hey!
Burt Reynolds.
Well done.
What movie's that from?
Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh, that's right. Is that where he's the
yeah.
priest?
Crikey.
Boring random fact about Johnny Mnemonic. The dodgy CGI game that came out, or FMV game that came out, the movie story and that's better, and some of the facts are better than the movie.
I like the fact it's set in the future and his brain can only take 40 gigabytes or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my god, he's a fucking PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
He can store 10 MP3s.
Yeah.
They still had more memory than the Wii U.
Then he's obsolete 2 years later when the slim version of him comes out.
Hey, well done. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. But whose moustache could this be? What?
What?
Whose moustache is that?
That's just a pixelated mess, sir.
Hitler.
Bird of a face is this?
Adolf Hitler.
Gotta be Andy.
Gurek.
Hagar from Final Fight.
Who, sorry? Hagar,
Hagar?
no.
Is it a film star?
Well, he's been on TV. He's definitely been on TV because I've seen him. I've seen screenshots of him on TV.
So what you're basically saying is he's a lurker. He's not actually someone who's famous. He's just
He's,
casually lurked his way onto TV.
well, he sort of looks after people. He's a sort of bodyguard.
Oh,
there.
Kevin Costner.
Burt Reynolds.
Stephen Horton.
Yes!
Stephen Norton. It is,
It is.
isn't it?
It is.
It is.
Gas.
It's Gashead.
Gas
Stephen-
of head.
Oh,
Boom.
Dave Clark.
1-0.
Yes.
Thank you. Back of the net.
Oh, I thought you said
See,
Stephen
I could
Hawking.
smell the rovers coming off him.
I could smell the porn.
I thought you said Hawking.
That was indeed the gas man.
The gas man.
Well done, you guessed it.
He's looking up to the sky there with a finger going, oh, that's where my finger was.
Oh, he's not. He's saying we're going up. See what I did there?
Who?
Apparently
Who's
not.
going up?
He's pointing how many hairs he's got in his head left.
No, that's below the belt.
One. The last head.
Come and, no, since he does the bodyguard stuff, what he's basically saying is come and sit here if you think you're hard enough.
I love him.
Sit on this
Yes.
and squeal like pigs on a honeymoon.
Gasman, if you're watching this, please bring back Toilet Thursday. Or else. So, whose mustache could this next one be? Hoo-hoo-hoo.
I don't know, but I like the yellow tooth.
He's a
Is it a chocolate brother?
Oh,
Yeah,
you'll
so-
never get this. You'll never get this.
Go on, give us a theme.
Burt Reynolds.
Is he in
Comedian.
prison?
Comedian.
Barry Chuckle. Paul Chuckle.
It could easily be, but no. Which of those are comedians? Which of those two can you actually point at and say, that one's a comedian?
That's cold.
Well,
That's cold.
you do point, in their defense, you do point at them and laugh, just not for the right reason.
Hey.
Did you ever see that Let's Play they did of them playing Hitman?
Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Give us a hint, Bob.
Well, he is a comedian, and he's big in America. British.
Oh, fucking hell.
James
Corden.
Well, it is odd, is it?
Big in America.
Ricky Gervais.
Well, Larry, let's see if you are correct in that assumption.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Amazing.
Dark Side Phil.
Did someone surgically alter his nose and face?
He's wanking again. Look at him.
That's his. But he's got a Twitter, Instagram or something. My missus follows him, and he just takes pictures doing those faces in the bath. Fucking hell.
What, boss-eyed?
Yeah, he just makes his face.
laugh.
He's always in the bath, naked.
I hope he's fucking about. He's not cry for help. He's having a stroke or something.
No, it's generally my wife shows me pictures of him like that.
He's having a double stroke. One of the undercarriage as well.
Oh, the camera's still on. Hey, guys.
Okay, quick fire. Next one. Whose moustache?
Oh, I know that.
Danny Trejo.
That's mine.
Yes.
That's my
Yes,
father.
correct.
That's Jack Black.
He's got it in one.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. The moustache is reminiscent of Kev's.
This is the greatest and best tash in the world.
Are you sure it's not just a tribute?
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest things I saw live. When I heard them singing that live and everyone screaming the lyrics, it was so good.
Where did you go and see them?
That was at Reading. I've seen them a few times, but the first time was at Reading.
It turned it wasn't them. It was just a tribute.
It was Kev. It was Kev.
It was
Could have been me
Kev's
last week.
garage band.
And the thing is, it wasn't even Reading, it was Swindon. It was just a tribute.
That guy is a god. Jack Black is a god.
He's demigod. Oh, no, that's someone else. Sorry.
He done a stab for me. I met him outside of a Portaloo where I waited for him to leave. He went back to his trailer. True story.
Yes, I grabbed hold of his turd and put it on eBay.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how was his dump? Did you inspect it? I assume you inspected his turd.
No, I was just running alongside him with like loads of bodyguards. Like, hey, I really, really like your stuff. Will you say something for me? He's like, "Oh, it's a Jack Black. You're listening to DJ Slope." And then he like ran in his trailer with the other guy.
Ran in.
Carl Gas.
Yeah, Carl Gas was in there with him.
What, head gas head.
Carl Gas.
That was one of the bodyguards.
Maybe that was why it's just so easy to speak to him. I don't know.
No, that would be a show. We could have Kev and Gashead as a tribute to Tenacious D.
Good.
Good. Is that all we've got to say about that? Okay, then let's go to the next moustache.
More tashes.
Oh, what's that guy's name? It's not Ryan Reynolds.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Burt Reynolds.
Brian Reynolds.
Brian Reynolds.
It's his brother.
Is it Ryan
Does
Reynolds?
his nose look like the head of a standard Area 51 alien?
No, it's that guy. It's not Ryan Reynolds. It's the other guy who looks like him, but I don't know his name. But he's in that
Chris Pratt.
film. No, he's in a film about a car, like called Drive or something.
Oh, fuck it.
What's his
Paul
name?
something. Paul something. Isn't it?
I've not seen the film.
Ryan
One who
Gosling.
died.
Fastback?
Huh?
Ryan
One who
Gosling.
died.
Is it something?
No, not Paul. What's his name? It's in
David Hasselhoff.
Is it something Fastback? No, it's not. But
it's
Oh,
a
the
film
one who-
called Drive or something.
Isn't that Ryan Gosling then? You're
That's it, Ryan Gosling. Is that him?
No.
That's a waste of time.
Probably Dave Wade, that man. Probably Lone Boys Tash.
what a waste of a perfectly good Google.
Dave,
Yeah.
do you have any idea whose moustache this could be?
Is it mine?
Yeah, somebody just got
Yeah,
it there.
he's-
Was it
It's
Kev?
got that gap. So I just described my own nose looking like an alien.
You made fun of yourself saying your nose looks like an alien.
Yeah, well, in my defense, you can't argue because you didn't even recognize yourself. And I have mirrors.
My own nose,
That is brilliant.
It is indeed.
It's true, people. It's true what they say. Play video games to store
You
your
can
mind.
put that on your resume.
For
My
some
nose
reason,
is like an alien.
Lombard, for some reason, always tends to show up in Retrotash, and we never guess him. We never guess him.
Have I been on it before? Right?
Oh, every
hey,
time.
appropriate that I'm wearing that shirt tonight, isn't it?
Yes.
That'd have been really embarrassing for you.
We've
Yes,
got a few
sidestep
more.
that landmine.
We've got a few more here. Who's this?
Danny Glover.
Samuel Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel
Keep
Jackson.
going, keep going, keep going.
Danny Glover.
Rick James.
Carl Weathers.
Keep going.
Did you say Rick James?
No,
Kim
keep going.
Justice.
It's not Samuel L. Jackson, no?
Eddie Murphy.
James Brown.
No, it isn't.
Mr. Murphy.
Yeah.
Uncle Eddie.
Ah.
Look at them glasses. Fantastic. He bought them off me, you know.
You know, I used to
Right.
remember when he was funny. How long ago that was?
When was that then?
It was a while back, yes.
I believe it was that interesting time known as the 80s. Before we decided that every single movie should be based around, children.
No, so now they're remaking every movie from the 80s and making complete cocks of them.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Every time I look on the Cody, there's a new fucking remake of a movie into a show, and it's like, why? Fuck off.
I will say this, though. Has anyone seen the TV show of Lethal Weapon?
No.
No,
It's actually really good.
didn't even know that. No, he didn't even know that was a thing.
Is that a Netflix thing or something?
The TV
Raymond
show.
Wayans is
Ashley.
Murtaugh.
No, sorry, go on.
But no, it's really good. Most remakes and stuff like that were based around, movies as shit. But no, I endorse Lethal Weapon.
And the
First.
what's it called? The Ash vs Evil Dead is fucking outstanding.
Oh, that's amazing. The special effects in that are better than some movies.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, let's not
That's
go
not
there.
how to
Let's
say.
not go there. So that was indeed the donkey from Shrek. But is this next person a donkey? Let's find out. Whose Tash is that?
It ain't a donkey, I'll tell you that.
That ain't no Tash.
I ain't afraid of no Tash.
I'm
That's
afraid of
me.
that.
That's me.
Wait, hold on a minute. Who's this new entrant to the call? Hey, look, it's Chris. Oh, where have
Now,
you been all this time?
I've just kicked out Captain Bug. I've just kicked him out because he was taking my limelight. I haven't been on the live stream for over a year, and I've just kicked him out.
Tell me who the hell that guy was who was just sat in your chair.
Captain Bug, you know it was Captain Bug invading my invading my life as he always does. I'm sorry if he said anything offensive, but that is me.
It's got to
Well,
be you.
it has to be, doesn't it, really, after all this? Oh, look, it is.
Look at that.
Who can recognize his own
Oh,
face?
yeah.
Larry, you can't recognise your own face. Larry, you can't recognise your own face. At least I can.
Well, you look like a geography teacher in that picture.
He does. He does.
Very good.
Chris, is this the moustache you grew for Movember last year?
No, it wasn't. No, it was 2014. That was.
Oh, really? We did a live stream for that, didn't we? We raised about 60 quid.
That's the best I could do. No, I got 100 quid.
We got 100 quid.
I was going to say, I helped for that.
Yeah, loads of people did. It was good, that.
Yeah.
Fun.
Girl donation.
Apparently, you just kept going.
Yeah, it's still growing.
Oh, dear. So, Chris, where have you been? It's been such a long time since we've had you on this show. And not just because, as somebody said, we've not been here for a long time. What have you been, dude?
I couldn't. The thing is, I couldn't go live with you guys because I wasn't living at home, and now I'm finally in my home. So now I can go back live. Hurrah! So that's
Was that a haiku?
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
I've started to reassemble the waffle corner. There's the Amstrad GX1000 poster and the Retro Unlim dog tag.
Yes.
Rumour's picture up there. So we're getting there.
Have you been watching the first part of this stream, Chris?
Commenting.
What did you think of Verrey?
Yeah, now he's gone. What did you actually think of him?
It's time to dish the dirt.
It was good crack. It was good crack. Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of interesting, tales that he told. It was quite because I was a big fan of Gamesworld back in the day, and it's kind of the forgotten show, isn't it? Because everyone goes on about Bad Influence and everyone goes on about Games Master, but Gamesworld was really had about 2 years, didn't it, where it was absolutely massive. But it seems to it's more of a forgotten show than the other two big UK game shows, I think. And
is that because it was on Sky?
Yeah,
that's precisely the reason. That's precisely the reason.
Well, I never heard of it until about a week ago, and
the irony is we
didn't
had
have
Sky at the time, and I still didn't watch it.
Yeah, well,
let's be honest. We all know the elephant in the room, which is the only reason that people watched Bad Influence. Monkey Spaz touched upon it many times when he does his commentary.
Please don't say it, because we've mentioned Violet Berlin numerous times in this podcast in a positive light. Please don't bring the tone down.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was just pointing out.
Is she the one with the lisp?
Yeah.
He was going to say because everyone loved Andy Crane. That's what he was going to say.
Cross Newton.
He made a whole generation comb their hair sideways.
Dave just got a boner for Z Riot. That's so tell me about America more.
Yeah, she had lovely little denim shorts, didn't she?
She's hot pants.
He loved her mega CD.
Moving swiftly along.
Actually, she loves it. Look, it was funny the way she used to say SNES. That's what reside in
now. Let's not go there.
And a complete and utter silence, ladies and gentlemen. The lesser heard silence on Retro Unlim Live. This is the witching hour now. It's now 11:30 UK time, and we've been on air for 2.5 hours. It's finally come to that point in the night where nobody has anything to say. They're completely dumbfounded and muted by a drink. You've joined us at exactly the best time in the show.
You sound like when you're on a flight and it's like the middle of the night and the pilot says something. That's what you sound like.
Yeah. Something like we're out of control.
Yeah, we're going down.
But he still says it in a respectful, quiet manner, is not to wake anyone up who might not.
Ladies and gentlemen, please don't panic, but we are currently crashing towards the Adriatic Sea at a rate of 500,000 miles an hour, and in 2 minutes, we'll be dead. Thank you very much. This is my last announcement. Sayonara.
So I know we've got a few Red Dwarf fans on here. I'd like to ask what you thought of the latest series.
Spoilers. I've only seen 2 because as normal, I'm saving it for the box.
I would say, don't ask Infected Flinch's view.
I didn't wonder why doesn't Holly show up in it at all?
Holly's water damaged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Norman Lovett really he fell out with the whole the production crew of Red Dwarf anyway. Bridges were
why can't they bring back the female Holly then for that then?
Yeah, they could have brought back Hilly.
Yeah, they should bring back Hattie Hadridge. Yeah, she's quite good.
Norman Lovett thing's not entirely true.
And no Kachansky either. Kachansky's suddenly disappeared.
Yeah, which is weird because she was in 9, wasn't she? Kind of.
Yeah, anyway, I thought the series was actually very good. Very good.
I thought it was good. I mean, I say I really liked. Well, I suppose I could say this about any series. I really liked 2 of them. I thought 2 of them were pretty good. And I thought 2 of them weren't very good.
Well, one of them was just a repeat of Rimmerworld.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say though. But I would say some of those episodes were really. I mean, I certainly 2 of the episodes I thought they were the best Red Dwarf since the 1990s. You know what I mean? So
I think the last episode was probably one of the best.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about the last episode, which is Can of Worms, right? That was a script that was written over 10 years ago, which was going to go into the cat's virgin thing. Talk about the cat being a virgin.
Yeah.
That's what they adapted it from, and it became that episode. So they thought introduce the polymorph again for the third time. And yeah, it was a good episode. That.
I was lucky enough to go to the filming of not the series we've just seen, but the series to come.
Yeah, 12.
At Pinewood, so I was lucky enough to be in the audience for that, and it was a great experience. It was a great experience, and I would think this series they were just getting back into the characters, yeah. So I would think next series they'll be well warmed up, as I experienced on the live when I was in the audience. They were really.
I tried to get tickets.
You know.
I hope so.
I did see there's a couple of plot holes in the story as well, like the one where Lister loses kidneys.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's but
you know,
it's sci-fi comedy. It's never taken its own plot holes seriously. So
I know, but it's completely arsed up though. That one. I mean,
I mean, I think Lister famously, this is going back years and years. He famously had his appendix out twice.
But there's an explanation for that.
It's just a bit Bangalore belly.
There's an explanation for that though. Because he claimed he had his appendix out before he joined the crew, right? And then he has appendix out again when he meets Legion.
Yeah.
In between that, they have the episode time slides where they reorganize the timelines. And what they say is one of the anomalies. Episodes. Yeah. One of the anomalies of them reorganising the timelines, you know, Rimmer comes back out alive for some reason, but no one knows why. An anomaly is saying that Lister's appendix
said unpack Rachel, get out the puncher repair kit.
Yeah.
I think just expanding on what Larry's saying about plot holes is one thing I really did feel with this series is, I mean, it's unfair for us because of being fans of it back in the day. You can't really hold it up with the first 6 series of Red Dwarf because we all hold them in such high regard. So it's unfair to compare them. So I did enjoy this new series, but I found that the plots and the end of the episodes were very abrupt and they didn't kind of...
I thought that they ended quite abruptly.
I will agree with that. Yeah, the endings were very abrupt. Yeah, they were abrupt.
That's been commented quite a lot on the Red Dwarf forums, actually. I think especially the main sort of perpetrator of that law was the one where Officer Rimmer.
Yeah. That was a thing parody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, he's like, "Oh, have you got your pen?" And they've all got a pen. Then he just shoots them, and it's like, "What?"
No, it's extremely abrupt. But didn't you get the joke though? It was a thing parody. That was.
Yeah, I did, but.
Team Chev says he was in the audience for episode 1 of the next series of Red Dwarf.
I didn't realise that.
Like if you look at like that, I know it's like a thing parody, but if you look at the end of the episode, there's no like joke. Whereas if you look at some of the strongest episodes, like for example, like the Inquisitor, which is amazing storyline. One of my favourite episodes, and at the end, and he's like, "Give you 5, I can give you 15." You know, it's like a funny little ending, and I think you need a bit of that.
I can use an older episode that has an ending very similar to like not having a joke at the end.
Oh
but it's a great episode, and that's Justice.
What's the ending to Justice?
When they're walking away we're walking back into the ship, and Lister is ranting on about there being no true justice in the world, and he falls down a shaft.
Oh, yeah, but that's kind of a little...
looks down the shaft and goes, "Thank God for that," and slams the door on him.
Yeah, but that is kind of a little joke, isn't it?
It's kind of a.
Well, if we lighten it up a bit about Red Dwarf, then what was your favourite joke of the last series? The
Captain Bollocks.
Yes,
I was crying.
Fantastic, wasn't it?
Crying with laughter.
I was literally in hysterics.
Robert Llewellyn is
brilliant.
The delivery of Robert Llewellyn was just so funny.
I mean,
the captain bollocks thing. I was just laughing. Me and my brother were laughing to hell.
I wasn't in the audience. I wasn't in the audience for that one, obviously, but sometimes to do multiple takes, and that looked like just a first take nail.
Yeah.
To me, you know what I mean.
But it was I think that was a polymorph moment. That.
Yeah.
Polymorph moment, because it was just so funny and quick like that, and everyone just broke down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could say it's a joke as such, but my favourite bit was the baby polymorphs.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, not the giving birth bit, but the bit when they're all in the pen.
Animals thing.
Yeah, he just goes, "Oh look, it's a hedgehog and a small shopping trolley."
It's a hedgehog riding a bike.
I really wish we did get to see a proper polymorph in that one, though. That was one thing.
You did. You
didn't ruin it. Polymorph. Yeah, but just an old school angry. Because I remember back in the day when Red Dwarf, I first saw the Red Dwarf 3 episode, and I was actually blown away. I mean, you look at it now and it looks pants, but I was absolutely blown away by the effects for the polymorph. You're just like, oh my god, it's up there with aliens. It wasn't, but that's your kid's goggle-eyed vision, isn't it?
It was very good.
Guys. Sorry to interrupt, but would you like to purchase...
It's a new game called Retro Car.
Would you like to purchase this car?
Does it come with the cock?
I assume so.
It's listed as a chicken.
That's a polymorph one, isn't it? Yeah.
From DNA.
Yeah. There you go. Relevant, and it wasn't ever supposed to be.
Episode 2, season 4.
So the story behind this picture is somebody sent this to me and said, I was going to buy this car, but the chicken put me off. And I promised I'd show them. I promised I'd show this picture on this show. So I fulfilled that promise, and I am now owed £5. So thank you very much.
You could say.
It is quite a funny picture, though, isn't it? That's a real picture.
So the car seller was cock blocked then.
Nice. We've got a comment from Team Chav again. He said that he liked the whole dice rolling scene. He said it was a proper throwback to series 1 and 2, Just Lister and Rimmer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the game of what were they playing?
And he keeps getting sixes or whatever.
Yeah.
What was it?
Where are they playing? I don't think so.
Monopoly or something?
Well, in Monopoly, if you keep getting...
It was based on... I forget the name now.
It's not Monopoly.
Not Risk. It wasn't Risk.
You're full of bull joke, wasn't it?
It was Atmosphere.
That was good. I think there was a lot of good set pieces. A lot of interplay between the two characters, especially in the second episode, Samsara. It was kind of like Marooned in a way, like Series 3 episode Marooned, episode 2, where Rimmer and Lister get isolated.
By the way.
Hey?
Carry on, Chris.
What's that? Dan, what are you doing there?
I'm cutting out an image while I listen to you guys talk about Red Dwarf.
This for a video?
Right, well, I'm gonna stop this Red Dwarf chat in a minute because
it's boring Dan, people.
Yeah, and you're boring me too. Enough. Red card. You're off, big boy Barry. Okay, guys. I want, and we're gonna finish the show on this. It's gonna be the big cliffhanger, basically. We'll talk about this more maybe in the future, but just for now, I issued this following challenge. 5 words from each of you, and 5 words only, on the result of the US presidential election. Now, no rants, only 5 words. 5 words, and that's it.
Oh, dear God, we're fucked.
I'll get fucked, Dave.
I'll start then.
Go on, then.
Easy there, sugar tits.
You can them with me. You can
that's
count them
only
with
4
me.
words, Dave.
Sorry?
Okay, here we go. Every bigot voted for Trump.
That's 6.
No, it's not. Every bigot voted for Trump.
That's 5.
Oh, yeah. I can't count.
Yeah, well, over half the American population. Yeah, okay.
I've got 5.
No. Okay, let me just clarify. Okay, I'm not saying everyone that voted for Trump is a bigot, but what I'm saying is every bigot did vote for Trump.
Yep.
Well, that much is obvious.
Therefore, and they didn't win by much, did they?
It was the lowest turnout ever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which confuses me because everyone said on the news that it was record queues or something. I don't know. I posted in advance so I don't have to drag my ass to the ballot box. Because
in all honesty, I mean, like he was going up against Hillary Clinton, right? I know this is well over my 5-word limit now, but he was going over against Hillary Clinton, so it wasn't exactly like, you know, if he didn't win, we would have been stuck with Hillary Clinton. Well, they would have been stuck with Hillary Clinton. So there's no winning.
That's too much elaboration. Too much.
I got one. His hair makes me chuckle.
Very good. Yeah.
I've got 2.
That's fine.
No one learned from Brexit.
I got one. Have you ever noticed, right, that you don't see Boris Johnson's hair and Trump's hair in the same room at the same time?
Yeah, that's one of 5 letters.
That's just an observation.
That's because they send it across the Atlantic to each other.
He's the president you deserve.
Well, how can anybody top that, ladies and gentlemen?
I would vote for Marmite. Hey, that's what you're. President Marmite should have won.
President Marmite should have won.
That sounds a bit racist, though. Sounds a bit racist.
Yeah. Better backtrack on that quickly.
Who will build the wall? Hey.
The Mexicans will build it.
Yeah,
He'll employ them. He'll employ them to build it and then send them back.
If you build it, they will come. That's the irony.
Sounds like a good porno to me. So, any more before we round off
the show? Movie to me.
He's an evil bastard.
Who's
that? Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I think
Trump makes baby Jesus cry.
Have you seen that new Jonathan Pye video about why Trump won?
Because I've seen a lot of videos why he won.
What was his theory?
But basically, everyone got fed up with their social justice warriors and left wing. But they basically, if you said anything against them, you're an idiot, you're a racist, and they shut every single person down who argued against them, so they had no voice, and the only way they could get their voice out was to go into that polling booth and vote with it. That's why they won.
And that's true, and that is true. And the more people keep saying stupid buzzwords like, "Oh, he's a racist," "Oh, they're bigots," "Oh, they're xenophobic,"
you're stupid.
The more bullshit it sounds like.
Yeah.
I will say this: I'm not a massive fan of him, but all these idiots going out and fucking, placarding and this and that and this. It's like, A, he's not my choice, but
have you seen the
one, and B,
the irony?
Instead of walking around with a fucking placard, why didn't you drag your ass to the fucking ballot box?
And the funniest thing was these people are rioting, smashing up, blowing up all these cars and that in states that have voted for Hillary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why?
Exactly. You know what the really funny thing is here? Is just before the election, and Clinton came out and said, "Oh, Trump's going to demean the election process by saying that the result is going to be rigged." Okay, fine. He said that and he was wrong. But she then about these idiots that are demanding change in a democratic process which did play out.
Oh, God. We've got him on his soapbox now. Guys, this is...
My 5 words? You want to hear my 5 words?
Yes, please.
Amstrad and Brexit are best. Alan Sugar.
I can tell you what he won in a nutshell.
Alan Sugar for president.
America wanted change, and she was part of the old establishment, which they didn't get change from. So that's why they didn't vote for her.
Chris, I would love to hear your 5 words.
Alan Sugar should have been president.
His face.
You're fired.
Stop crying, leftist, hypocritical cunts.
Oh, come on, you can't use
5 words. 5 words, yeah.
4, isn't it?
I love the way that's the thing that people are picking up on, that he might have only said 4 words.
Yeah, this is a...
Yeah, you've only Chris, you could have got some more abuse in there. You only said 4.
Yeah.
I said, stop.
Oh, stop.
Crying, leftist, hypocritical CUNTs.
Or you could have said, go touch yourself, lefties.
Yeah.
I touched my lefties.
Anyway, that's my rights as
What
well.
on earth does that mean, Larry?
I don't know.
Voted for Hillary. There's 5.
I don't think I want to know. Anyway, this is far more than 5 words now, so I believe that is indeed the end of Retro Unlim Live 5,333, aka 53. If it was the 5,333rd, I'd be dead by now, which I'm sure you wish I was by this point. But
what the relevance was of that? I didn't get it. Sorry.
Nobody knows what the relevance of anything that I say is. However, in
Here's
closing,
a game we could quickly play before we go. Try and work out what art that's from. That's on Daniel's little screen.
This Metal Slug.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, saw the title earlier.
One of his fancy things where the cover comes all together from separate images.
Harry, you never gave your 5 words. It's a Norman nobility hut should have been present. He's better than Angela Merkel anyway. So
anybody
should
better than her.
You should have
fucking sturgeon over her, and that's saying something.
Oh bloody! Oh, that's a tough call. I mean, that's like trying to pick jelly deals over bleeding rotten cockles. It's awful.
Yeah.
Guys,
that's the greatest analogy ever for those 2 people.
Guys, my 5 words should have voted for Retro Unlim. Retro Unlim is 1 word. Yes, and on that...
Ron Perlman is going to be putting him up for the 2020. Ron Perlman for 2020.
Yeah.
John Cena.
Long voice post for president.
Michelle Obama for president.
Hey, but the thing is, if we go on what Donald Trump says, right, I can run for president because according to him, Obama wasn't born in America. Vote me.
There's
for real change.
Do you know what? It's hilarious that people were saying that he's not qualified to be the president. Okay, maybe you want to talk about it in political terms, of course, but there's only 2 conditions that you need to qualify to be the president of the United States. A, you got to be over 39. B, you got to be born in America. That's it.
And have a shitload of money.
Helps.
39.
But at least you don't have a shitload of money given to him by the Saudis.
Right, I'm hereby calling a truce. That's it. Guys, the next Retro Unlim Live is coming later this month. That's right. We're going to have 2 this month. It's on the 26th. 26th, and that is a Saturday. So don't forget, Saturday, the 26th of November, we'll be having a Retro Unlim Live 54. Please tune in for that. But until then, please remember...
The 5th of November.
That's the electric...
The 26th of November, yes.
I bet that is the
The 26th.
I got a 5th of November tattoo.
No.
You did?
Because that's the next time we'll see Novabug on one of these.
Yes, we're going to go back in time.
See you in 5 months, Chris.
No.
Next time I get hold of Larry on the email.
Please remember, guys, that Donald Trump does not have his finger on the end of the world button, but I do. Good night.